much, Commissioner Mason. I want to thank Director Patel and his team. It's great to have them on the ground with us tonight. We've had several briefings, and he's had an opportunity to walk the crime scene. We appreciate.
I'm gonna need a good minute or so before I'm live,
Here.
so
Again,
bear with me.
we have Mike Smith, who is the county sheriff here. We have all of our local chiefs of police that are here as well, all working hand in hand with the state and with the FBI as we move forward with this investigation. Now, I'll just give you a little more. We will not be taking any questions at this time. That we're giving you the latest information we have, being as transparent with everything that we have. But I do want to share a couple things that I think are important. We cannot do our job without the public's help right now. The public has answered our call for action.
In a minute, folks,
We've
almost.
received more than 7,000 leads and tips. I would just note that the FBI hasn't received this many digital media tips from the public since the Boston Marathon bombing.
Damn.
This case also highlights the dedication of our law enforcement community. We have 20 federal, state, and local law enforcement partners that are working shoulder to shoulder to find the person who committed this horrific crime. With their support, we've completed nearly 200 interviews. As you're aware, as has already been reported, the FBI is offering a $100,000 reward for information.
100 G's, $100,000.
For the murder.
You want to turn them in, get $100,000 reward. That's the Charlie. They're talking about the guy that took out Charlie Kirk. Somebody says, wouldn't it be something if those children murdered during prayer got this much coverage? That's what we're going to talk about. That's part of what we're going to talk about. It's interesting you said that. It is very interesting you said that. That's going to be definitely part of our conversation tonight. That is a really good point.
We need as much help as we can.
I think I'm just about ready to go here. So
that you might have, the public should be submitted to our digital media tip line, which is www.fbi.gov
okay,
Utah.
we'll go ahead and get the live going in 3, 2, 1. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the Handsome Libro, depending on who you ask. Good evening. Just wanted to come in here and talk to the folks. This was a later evening live, but I did have a couple of things I wanted to find. Wanted to what is the old term, chew the rag? What do they say nowadays? I want to holler at you about something. We're going to use chew the rag, though. That's one of the older terms, probably even before Generation X. Let's chew the rag for a minute. So, obviously, Charlie Kirk, his assassination continues to dominate the news. And we're going to talk about, I don't know if it's from an unusual standpoint, a standpoint of favoritism or what. We're going to talk about that. But what I want to ask you folks before we get too deep into the loss of Charlie Kirk, I want to ask if there's any way we can unite under President Trump. How can America come together? How can we reobtain unity? Considering that it appears to be lost in this country. I know folks believe that we were divided under Obama. Certainly people believe we were divided under Joe Biden. Hell, there are people who believe we were divided under George W. Bush. But did we put Trump in here? Did we put Trump in there as commander-in-chief to unite us? Has anybody seen any sort of resemblance towards unity under President Trump? Because regardless of how divided we may have been under previous leaders, they're not in charge anymore. So if we look at the country now as divided under President Trump, and folks start saying, well, it was Obama started it, or the division started under Biden, or the division started under George W. Bush. That's not relevant at this point. It doesn't matter where it started. How the hell do we end it? How do we get to the point where we can unite? Because it seems like the more we go, the stronger the level of division is becoming. Now, obviously, if we're becoming divided, there has to be a reason why. We can get into why this country is divided. Is the left over? Are folks on the left going ape shit, bad shit, crazy, and provoking this? Is the provocation coming from the right? Is it a case of both sides? We're going to talk about all of that. But how can we unite? Because it does seem that we're getting more and more divisive. Now, today is September 11th. Everybody knows what the relevance of this day historically. Today is September 11th. I don't think I can think of anything in our lifetime. Now, I'm Gen X, so maybe some of you guys go back further than me, but for someone in my age, somebody in their early 50s, I cannot think of anything that united America more than September 11th, 24 years ago today. 24 years ago. I don't know if you guys remember the scene with George W. Bush where he went to Manhattan. He was standing on the rubble of the Twin Towers and he was speaking to the firefighters that were there, and they were sifting through the rubble still looking for victims and things like that. And he stated with a bullhorn, I hear you, these people hear you, and the folks who knock these buildings down will hear from all of us soon. And the audience erupted. The audience erupted because we felt confident. Not only were we going to unite, we were on our way to getting some revenge, getting some kick ass, some get back for what took place for the Twin Towers. So we were very united. Not only were we so united in terms of what happened on September 11th, folks started joining the military. Folks wanted to kick some ass for what happened on September 11th. That is likely the most unified time in most of our lifetimes America has ever been. It was from that point that folks in the military started being treated with far more respect. The whole thank you for your service became popular because of September 11th. Now, people still to this day are very respectful of the military. Remember how they were treated when they got back from Vietnam? They were not treated very respectful. People were spitting on them and every damn thing. After September 11th, the military became far, far more respected in this country. So that's unity. From I'd say, September 11th, 2001 to probably, I don't know, probably the beginning of the Iraq War, or the point where we started realizing the Iraq War was not looking like it was a justified invasion. Up to that point, America was incredibly unified. Up to the point where people started questioning the Iraq War and whether we had been we had been misled in the war. So probably a year or two, at least a solid year after September 11th, this country was very, very united. So I'm asking, can we get that back under President Trump? Is there any way we can unite like we were after September 11th under President Trump? Because it is looking more and more divisive as the time goes on. So we're going to talk about that. I want to hear your opinions because this is bad. I mean, I got folks all over social media saying everything from, the death of Charlie Kirk is a call to war. Are you guys about to get it? A lot of historically black colleges and universities today were receiving all sorts of threats. I don't know if they were bomb threats or whatever. They didn't release what type of threats they were, but they were shutting down campuses and everything. And it goes without saying, you don't need to put two and two together that much to understand that what happened to Charlie Kirk is likely the fuel for what is happening with the threats to the colleges and universities. It's pretty, because people are pissed off. People are pissed off. And all over social media, folks are blaming the left for the death of Charlie Kirk. Now, understand, and even President Trump has not threatened, but even President Trump has accused the left or suggested that the left is responsible for the death of Charlie Kirk. Now, keep in mind, no killer has been found. They don't know who did this. They're showing photos now of some young white guy with an American flag on his shirt. He's wearing black, pair of jeans and Converse. I'm actually looking at the photos on News Nation right now. They're releasing that, and they're suggesting that he's a suspect of interest. Now, they got him jumping off the fucking roof, and saying they saw, forearm prints and palm prints. So I don't know why, he looks like he's going to be the perpetrator, whoever he is. But Trump has already blamed the left for this, and just a multitude of people on the right have already blamed the left for this without anybody knowing who the shooter is or what he actually stood for. No one knows that. We're just going to automatically assume the person that did this leans left and somehow planted on the whole Democratic Party, because folks are even suggesting that because of what happened, the Democrats have blood on their hands. So I definitely want to talk about, can we unite under President Trump? And also I want to get into, why is this getting so much attention? One of my viewers asked that question. One of the early viewers on YouTube asked that. I want to ask that. Why is this getting so much attention? Now, obviously, he was slain in one of the most brutal of ways, but Americans get shot in the face every damn day. This is not something unusual to go out in a blaze of glory in America. People get smoked. I would submit to you that since Charlie Kirk lost his life a little bit over 24 hours ago, there's probably been dozens of Americans that went out the same way he did. Dozens of them all over the place. And not just in Chicago, for some of my folks who like to target Chicago, but all over America. There's been gun deaths all over America since he died. So why is his death getting so much attention? And when I say attention, I don't mean just because, he was assassinated in front of hundreds of people. I'm talking about attention to the point where they're lowering the flags to have staff. When does a citizen get slain and the president lowers the flag to have staff? When does a citizen lose his life and the vice president flies Air Force Two to pick you up, to pick up the body and take it home to your family free of cost? When does that happen? J.D. Vance went to the site, they picked up the body and is flying it back home to the family. When on earth does that ever happen? He's a citizen. He's not a politician. So it's not like he's a state senator or, he's a U.S. senator or U.S. congressperson or even a state congressperson. And they don't went out and flew his body back home. In addition to that, President Trump announced today that they're going to be posthumously giving him the Medal of Freedom. Now, I'm not going to go back and forth about the Medal of Freedom. A lot of these medals are awarded to people, and the other side think it's wrong. Trump awarded the Medal of Freedom to Rush Limbaugh, and a lot of folks on the left thought that was wrong. I believe, was it either Obama or Biden may have given out some controversial awards as well. I'd have to look it up, but look, I'm not going to argue about the Medal of Freedom or whatever the case may be, but I'm simply asking, why is this getting so much attention? President spoke on it. And the reason why I'm asking that is because some of you folks may remember, because it's been coming up all over social media today. Melissa Hortman and I think the guy's Tom Thornton. I can't think of the other guy's name, but the picture you see behind me, Melissa Hortman, a female, she was murdered at her home. So was her husband. So was her dog. She was a state congresswoman in Minnesota. The guy pictured there next to her was a state senator. He still is a state senator in Minnesota. But once again, the same assassin went to both of their homes on the same night and tried to kill them both. Both of their spouses were also shot. As I stated, Melissa, her husband, died along with her. No J.D. Vance, no call from President Trump, no flags at half staff by President Trump. Why is that? Now, these are actual politicians. These are not citizens. They're actual politicians. President Trump even stated he was not even going to call and issue condolences to the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, because he stated Tim Walz is incompetent, as if somehow how competent you are as a governor has something to do with whether you should receive condolences or not. I don't understand where that came from, but I'm asking, why is it that I keep Charlie Kirk. There's two other Kirks in my mind: T.K. Kirkland and Kirk Franklin, the musician. When I say Charlie Kirk, these other Kirks keep coming to my mind. But what I want to ask is, why is Charlie Kirk getting all of this hierarchy, so much attention, so much love like this? when he was just an average citizen or just an actual citizen, as opposed to actual politicians who lost their lives by an assassin? Why are they not getting the same amount of attention? Somebody please explain that to me, because otherwise I'm seeing we care about our guys, we don't care about the opposition. That's how this comes across when the president looks at someone who did a hell of a lot for his campaign, who registered and converted a hell of a lot of young folks to be conservative, did a lot for the Trump campaign. All of this love has been shown to that person. But then when you have actual politicians that lean left that are killed by an assassin, virtually nothing. I like my people. I don't give a damn about your people. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing. Somebody come and correct me. But I'm asking that question. Can we unite under President Trump? Simple as that. Simple as that. Can we unite under President Trump? Because there's a hell of a lot of people that are all over social media either suggesting that the loss of Kirk warrants revenge, or some folks are saying it means you should be jumping up and down and celebrating. Now, before we start taking calls and going to the box, understand there is some, there has been some very interesting, and I don't think my computer's acting right now, but one of the things about Charlie Kirk is he's made some very interesting quotes. I mean, he said some pretty interesting things, and I think that'll come out on the program, and I also believe that will probably be why some folks have an issue with him. But we'll certainly be talking about that. But he's made some interesting quotes for damn sure. So until my computer comes up, I will look in the comments. I still believe Trump wants an all white America. Damn. You believe that, Elliot? You believe Trump? How can you can't get an all white America other than doing some really sinister shit. How do you get an all white America? I mean, there's like millions of people in this country that are non-white. Unless you have some sort of final solution up your sleeve, how can you get an all-white America? I don't know if that's possible. President Trump is the greatest president in America's history, says Claire. I would sure love for you to back that up as to why you're saying that. You know, for folks who say that, what do I say on the program all the time? Give me 3 accomplishments. Because we still talk about George Washington. We still talk about Abraham Lincoln. We still talk about Thomas Jefferson. We still talk about a lot of presidents from the past. John F. Kennedy. We still talk about FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. We still talk about, we're talking President Trump, greatest president ever. Give me 3 accomplishments that 100 years from now, people will still be talking about that President Trump has done. Remember, he's the greatest one ever. Out of all 47 or whatever it's been, because many of them have been elected twice, but out of all 47 presidents, he's the best one we've ever had. And we still talk about a lot of the other ones that served hundreds of years ago. So give me 3 things that President Trump has done that Americans will still be championing in 2125. In the year 2125. Give me 3 things that Trump has done that people will still be saying, yes, that was a great thing. I'd love to hear that. Because if he's the best president ever, you should have no problem coming up with a moon landing or defeating the Soviet Union, freeing slavery, giving folks civil rights, beating off Nazi Germany, tearing down the Berlin Wall. You should have something easy to come up with. Give me 3 things, 100 years from now, people will be still talking about if he's the best ever. Looking in the comments, somebody said he survived assassination. That's not an accomplishment. Somebody tried to get, what are you, Tupac? 50 Cent? I got shot 9 times and I survived. That ain't an accomplishment. That's just brute fucking luck. Let me go to the box. You're giving him credit. You're surviving an assassination. Wow, that's funny. Love to Cruz. Good evening. Welcome to the program. Love to Cruz. Why on earth is this getting so much attention, considering we just had a politician assassinated in Minnesota in early June? Love the Cruz. Good evening.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh man, I'm trying to figure out, can we unite under President Trump?
No, we can't unite.
Why
the
not?
reason is because he makes a clear distinction between his people and who's not his people. It isn't about American. It isn't about America. It's about him and his crowd. And if you're not in his crowd, then you're out. So no, you're not going to be able to unite because people are going to steadily feel left out.
Wow.
And the fact that this dude, man, like you said, he's an American citizen. And I got to tell you, at first, yesterday when it happened, I had a lot of remorse. I'm conflicted. It isn't that it's a sad thing that the guy passed.
Right.
But I don't have remorse. It's just sad that he passed. And the fact when you're in Utah, what does an HBCU college have to do with Utah? Ain't no black people in Utah. That's an exaggeration. But I'm saying the guy who killed him obviously was a white guy.
Yeah.
But you're going to attack a HBCU and use this death as a reason to escalate your hatred for black people. Because we had nothing to do with the actual shooting itself. But you want to go ahead and come at us for it.
Well, and obviously that is as wrong as the days are long. But my guess is, okay, 'cause there was no shortage of African Americans all over YouTube and TikTok and social media celebrating his death. So they may have used that. Well, since so many black people seem to be okay with our hero getting slain, fuck it, we're going to go after their schools. It could have been a revenge play.
What happened to the fact that they said, why does the guy get shot because he expresses his opinion? We're expressing our opinion. The ones that said shot.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, okay. Now, for folks did not hear that, he's saying that what happened to it's wrong to do something to somebody simply because they're expressing their opinion. And what you're saying is the African Americans were just expressing their opinion of lack of concern for the loss of Charlie Kirk. That's a good one. I didn't think of it that way. That's a pretty good comeback on that.
It is, and let me tell you something. I'm a hunter. Well, I used to hunt pretty avid. For you to hit a guy, and I know it, and this is just me speaking, this is my opinion, I have no facts or nothing, but it was a headshot he was going for, and for you to get like that at 200 yards, that's a marksman.
Yeah, but when you say he's going for a headshot, considering what happened to his neck when that round hit his neck, what would have happened if it had struck his skull?
Well, that's what he's going for because nobody goes for a neck.
Right. That would have been, but what I'm saying is as graphic as that was when it hit his neck, what would it have been like if it hit him in the forehead or something?
Well, with the rifle, with a high-power rifle like he used, it was a message set. If he had hit him in the head, it just would have blew his whole head off.
Damn.
And that's a message. That is a message to be sent. And you're at 200 yards? That is crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. 200 yards. And the fact that they can't find them. How do you have a rifle
I think
and you disappear?
I think they have found them, though. The information, I'm watching news. I got News Nation on behind the monitors right now. And they don't have a perfect photo of his face, but they got photos of him on top of the roof, jumping off the roof and running off. They got some pretty, they got video of this. I'm looking at it right now. He's on the roof right now. He climbs down, he jumps off and runs into a neighborhood. They got some pretty good, they're narrowing it down. Now, they don't have a clear video of his face because he had on glasses and stuff, but they're saying that he left palm prints some palm smudges on the roof, forearm prints and things like that. So, the shirt he had on had an American flag on it. It looked like some symbol in the flag. So, I don't know if it's a shirt he ever wore before, because if he's worn it before, somebody's probably going to remember. I know dude who had that shirt. So hopefully he went to Walmart right before he done this and bought some clean clothes. Because if he wore stuff that people don't seen him in before, and they're offering $100,000. So I'm not certain they're not going to get him. But to continue responding to what you said, Kash Patel has been very sloppy on this. They've announced already 2 people as suspects, and now they're on a 3rd guy. Why do you think they're handling it so sloppy?
Yeah, that's very. I got my own conspiracy theory now.
Which is,
Now the fact that you can't find this guy and it's taking this long, maybe the job was inside somewhere.
Explain that. Wait. You're gonna tell me an inside job? You're talking about in reference to the Trump administration?
I'm not gonna say who, but it ain't. Come on now, this has been a couple of days and they haven't found anybody, and then they arrest 2 people and they're the wrong people.
Well,
does that sound like the FBI and the secrets?
Well, you got to understand, once Trump took over the federal government, don't expect any of the organizations to sound like what they normally do. Look at the HHS. Does that look like the normal HHS? I mean, the Department of Education, does that look like the Department of Education? I mean, so once Trump took over the government, don't expect any of these organizations to perform like they normally do. They've changed fundamentally how they operate.
Well, you may be true about that. But it's just suspicious that a guy can climb on the roof at a college, take a 200-yard shot, hit him, and disappear and nobody sees him.
Well, everybody was kind of ducking down, trying not to get shot. I mean, that's the same thing that happened with President Trump.
Before he went up on the roof, you're going on the roof with a rifle.
Yeah. Well, that's the same thing that happened with President Trump. A guy was on the roof with a rifle.
Yeah, but they tried to warn on his way up. They were warning people. There's no warning here.
Yeah, because people probably didn't. You're not going to look at Charlie Kirk like a high security event like the president, though. He needs some security, like your Ben Shapiro's and Candace Owens. They need some security, but people don't look at it like the president of the United States. So people might have seen the person on the roof and thought it was a maintenance man or something like that. They're not going to be thinking at that same level, certainly when it's a bunch of college kids as well.
Oh, Tim, that's bullshit. If you were speaking...
Keep going.
I see the motherfucker climbing on the roof with a rifle, man. Man, that's bullshit, man. Come on, man.
Well, no, wait a minute. I don't think he climbed on the roof with a rifle out in the open. It could have been something he assembled. It could have been something he put up. They didn't show him climbing up there. They showed him climbing down. So I don't know.
The man got a high-powered rifle. He got a carrying case. Okay, so he got a carrying case and he's going up on the roof in Utah.
Well, I hear what you're saying. But maybe there was a part of the building where nobody was around and nobody was looking. Nobody. Like you said, he's 200 yards.
You are straddling the hell out of this fence today, boy.
No, but I'm taking what you said in consideration. But remember, like you said, it's 200 yards away, so it's not like it's right on the main event. A building 200 yards away may not be getting that much attention.
Okay, I'll go for that.
Thank you.
Because that is a long way away, man.
Now, if it's...
So, to answer your question, no, this country can't be brought together.
No chance at all.
No, the hatred is real. The hatred is real. And it's unfortunate because it may have always been there, but it may have been underground, but Trump has enabled everybody to bring it out.
And that's hatred coming from both sides?
It is. Wow. I'm not going to say the left. The left is totally innocent. We take our shots too when we can.
Yeah. No pun intended. No pun intended.
I'm sorry.
No pun intended. This guy just got shot. Maybe by the left.
Yeah. No pun intended.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we're not the aggressors. We're the reactors.
Well, wait a minute now. Trump is suggesting that the loss of Charlie Kirk was actually done by the liberals. He's blaming his death on the Democrats.
Man, until we find out, first of all, okay, we know it's a white guy.
Yeah. Look, most likely. Most likely.
All right, so now, is this a white liberal or is this part of a white Republican?
Mm.
You can't say that for sure yet.
No, but it's more. I mean, if it was Trump or Vance or Rubio or something like that, but Charlie Kirk, I don't know what a Republican would want to take him out for.
Well, technically, shouldn't nobody want to take him out, but maybe a person of color, because that's who he was on most of the time.
No, he had issues with abortion. I mean, he said his stance on gun control pissed off a lot of white liberals, I'm sure. I mean, he said stuff that would piss off white people too.
Okay, well, I don't know. We'll find out hopefully if it isn't a cover up.
That cover up. Give me before I'm moving on from you, give me a detailed explanation of what you're thinking in terms of a cover up.
I'm thinking that somebody from, okay, well, let's just say it then. Somebody from the Trump organization or even his own organization took him out.
For what reason?
Well, you'll never know what's going on behind closed doors.
Wow.
Or what he was doing or anything like that. What was he demanding? Maybe he was demanding something that we don't even know about and probably won't know about.
That's interesting.
But we're not talking about, we're not just talking, they call it assassination. It's not assassination. This was
That's not an assassination?
I think it was a planned shooting.
Well,
I think it was planned because if there had been one of the students there, it'd have been close. This was a marksman, man. I don't know. Do you hunt?
No, but hold on. A planned shooting and an assassination can often be synonyms. A lot of assassins plan their shootings.
Yeah, but when I think of assassination, I mean, I'm thinking of somebody that's political, has an office title or something like that. Not an ordinary citizen. Besides him having a little power, he's just an ordinary citizen.
I mean, but were not most assassins throughout history? Think JFK, think Robert Kennedy, his brother, think Martin Luther King. Weren't they all taken out by ordinary citizens?
No, but they were assassinated because of their title. He doesn't have a title, so he's a shoot. He just got shot. The president, JFK, president.
Martin Luther King did not really have a title. He was the leader of a movement, very similar to Charlie Kirk.
Don't do that. Don't do that, man.
What is Martin Luther King's title?
The head of
He's a civil rights leader. He was a civil rights leader. Yeah.
Exactly.
Just like Charlie Kirk, he wasn't fighting for civil rights, but he was basically organizing a hell of a lot of the youth, which the right was short of. He was converting a lot of folks on the right at the younger ages to become conservative. I mean, he was the head of a movement.
Preaching hate.
I can't go into that because some people, during Martin Luther King's time, they thought he was preaching hate.
Oh, no, well, look, I wasn't around, but I was a very young man, maybe about 3 or 4, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. And you can't say that.
No, I don't say it. I'm simply saying during his time. Let me just put it this way. It doesn't matter any civil rights leader you're talking about from any period in history. When they were around and they were fighting for civil rights, they were being called a racist and they were promoting hate. All of them. Jesse Jackson, what is his name? Ben Crump or whatever the guy's name is now, the L. Sharptons, the Martin Luther Kings, they all were, they were Medgar Evers, they were all preaching hate during their time if you listen to the public around them.
So you're saying Charlie Kirk was in that kind of stature then, to be compared to all of them that you just mentioned?
I'm saying Charlie Kirk was the leader of a movement. He wasn't fighting for civil rights and equality, obviously, but you can be the leader of a movement. It's just a different type of movement. He was the leader of a movement. He is kind of considered almost like Karl Rove, the architect for George W. Bush getting elected. He could to some degree hold a lot of he actually has a lot of responsibility of why Trump got elected. Some folks are suggesting without Charlie Kirk, Trump would not have gotten elected.
Well, I heard that too, and I didn't know he had that type of clout. But still, I just the hatred that he spewed, or I see one guy said he didn't talk hatred, he told the truth, and that's just ridiculous, And them the type of people that he's generating, them type of people.
Yeah.
So no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that he got. Nobody deserves to die, but do I have any type of remorse? No, I don't think so.
All right, love the cruise. I do got to move it on. Strong opinion, man. Thanks for coming through, though.
All right, thank you.
Anytime. All right, looking in the comments, Handsome Majin Boo says, Tim, Trump ain't taco shit. Only reason why it's getting so much attention is because white people. That's why it would be different. It would be a different game for blacks. So let me ask you, let me try to think of somebody African American. How many African Americans have really organized a lot of votes for Trump? Not many, but obviously, Officer Tatum and the rest of those folks on social media speak favorable of President Trump. What is the senator over in South Carolina? What is the guy's name? I can't think of the guy's name right now. The senator in South Carolina that happens to be black. But you're not going to find anybody that's African American that has moved more people to vote for Trump or even come close than Charlie Kirk. So Tim Scott is the guy I'm thinking about. So what are you guys suggesting, that if Charlie Kirk was African American, they wouldn't be giving him the love and adoration that they're giving him? I'll leave it like that. I was told Charlie Kirk was left speechless. Wait a minute. You were told Charlie Kirk was left speechless. Well, yeah, he got shot in the throat. I'm sure his whole windpipe was destroyed. In the eyes of God, I think he got punishment. If you believe in God, truly. Wow. That's strong. So you believe that Charlie Kirk received punishment from the Lord above. Damn. Wow. I still believe, continuing on, by the way, tap the screen, get us on up to 15,000 likes. Understand, folks, now that we've gotten the program in full swing, we don't block, ban, or censor anyone. We are indeed MAGA friendly, been MAGA friendly since day one. Always have been MAGA friendly, always will be MAGA friendly. You can criticize anybody on this program, up to and including the host. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. What do we say? We go left of Bernie Sanders, so I'm having dinner with Q. Everyone gets to speak. So looking in the comments real quick here. I don't know what the hell. The screen just froze on me here. But was it Malcolm preaching violence? Malcolm X, and thank you, Gilbert. Malcolm X did believe in by any means necessary. He was preaching violence. He was talking about, just like the Black Panthers believed in, we're not going to talk our way out of this or whatever. You may have to take up arms. So yeah, he did. He was full of hate. Remember what he said about black pilots and DEI. He did suggest that if he gets on a plane and there's a black pilot, he'll be wondering if that guy knows how to do the job. So that does sound very racist. In other words, the only reason why you're questioning whether this guy has competency or not is because of his skin color. You're thinking DEI. Because for some reason, all of the white pilots, they have the credentials. I'm just going to be honest. It does ring of racial overtones. Not Crockett, but Tubbs. Good evening, Tubbs.
Yeah, hi. How's it going, Handsome?
Hey.
I got a motive for you for why they would have done it to themselves.
Explain.
To make a martyr out of him.
What would be the benefit of making a martyr out of Charlie Kirk?
So then they can target the left.
They've already been targeting the left.
But now, have you heard them recently? They sound like they want to come at them.
Yeah. They sound like they're talking war. Yeah, I have heard that.
Yeah, this is exactly. This pushed it over the edge. I think this was the needle that broke that back.
You know something? In my now, because I see Arshafan says, "Please stop. This is ridiculous with conspiracy theories." I'll just say this. I think if you want to, you got some background noise or something going on, or something's weird making sounds there.
Yeah, I'll drop out. Sorry.
Okay.
I said what I wanted.
All right, fair enough. I'll address it too. Okay, I'll drop him out. Yeah. What I was gonna say is, if you want to really promote the right to invoking an uprising, maybe even a violent uprising, some kind of civil unrest or whatever, I don't think you need to take out Charlie Kirk. I don't think you need to assassinate one of your own. Certainly a guy like this guy who has been held in high esteem, who's probably organized and helped get a lot of MAGA voters to the polls. That ain't the guy you take out. What you do, in my opinion, is what's going on right now. Just put a hell of a lot of people on television suggesting that they are a danger to society. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you based on my own observation. Maybe I'm seeing things, maybe I'm making it up. This is what I believe I'm seeing. I'm starting to see a whole lot of violent black criminals on TV. And I'm starting to hear the Trump administration using these folks to propose legislation, to take action, to go into cities. I'm starting to see them do that with a whole lot of black criminals. You see what happened in South Carolina, North Carolina, in Charlotte, whatever it was, the Ukrainian immigrant on the commuter train getting stabbed. People get stabbed and unalived on trains and buses all damn day in this country, certainly in big cities. But for some reason, she got a whole lot of attention. Just continue showing, and I'm not going to mince words here, because you know who you're trying to trigger. Continue showing people of color bestowing awful violence upon white America. I think that would mobilize and anger a hell of a lot more people than what happened with Charlie Kirk. That's it. If you really want to do what my last guest said, I think that would be the way to do it, as opposed to taking out Charlie Kirk. Just put every single person of color on television that commits a violent felony against somebody white. Just keep pounding that in, and using that as here. What is it got? Big Balls, the one in DC. All of a sudden, the National Guard is there. You're seeing the same thing when it comes to the Ukrainian immigrant in North Carolina. They're talking about, well, maybe we need to send the National Guard in. So just keep showing those stories, and folks will then feel like you are justified in doing whatever you need to do. That is the way I think if you really want to energize the anger on the right, do that. Looking in the comments, Trump and MAGA ain't shit, says Will G. Says threatening civil war, blindly blaming the left when Charlie Kirk was clapped in Mormon country, a ruby red state with lax gun laws. That is true. Somebody else brought that up. That Charlie Kirk was talking about how awful black on black crime is in liberal cities and liberal states. And here he is in Utah getting shot by a white dude. That is something ironic. Certainly with him also stating that, as a product of the Second Amendment, we gotta to some degree be willing to accept gun deaths. God knows he never probably thought he was going to become one of them. But like I said, the man got a lot of very interesting quotes out there. And because of his untimely death, they didn't age well.
Very clear that you're not going at gun deaths to zero. It will not happen. Right. You can significantly reduce them through having more fathers in the home, yes, by having more armed guards in front of schools. Yes. We should have an honest and clear reductionist view of gun violence, but we should not have a utopian one. You will never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. That is nonsense. It's drivel. Wow. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year, so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That
did not age well. Now, I was going to say, up to him stating I think it's worth it, I agree with him, because we've covered so many unalivings at schools and supermarkets and churches on this program. That's one of the first things I often say, is that we do need to realize that as a condition of giving everyone access to guns, some people are going to shoot each other. It's just like as a condition of allowing everybody to have a car and drive, you're going to have accidents on the road. There is no way you're going to put millions of cars on the streets of America and expect nobody to have an accident. There's no way in hell you're going to hand everybody a gun. Really, the only requirement is that you turn 18 or you turn 21, depending on your state law. Even in the realm of even when it comes to cars, at least you do got to prove you know how to drive. You don't have to prove shit when it comes to getting a gun. Just on your 18th birthday, you're now qualified. Go out and buy something. That's what the guy in Ubalde did. He just saved his money from his job, bought a couple of long rifles and went to school and dismissed the class. So I do agree with Charlie Kirk that if you allow the Second Amendment, you got to be willing to accept gun deaths. There's just no way around it. There's way too many guns in the country. And now you tack on mental illness and things like that, and it is what it is. Now, many would say, before I go back to the next caller, many would also suggest, well, everybody had access to guns back in the 1950s and 60s, and people weren't shooting each other up like they do now. That is true, but there are other factors. If you told the American public back in the 1950s that in 2025, you're going to have a whole lot more people that are mentally ill. People are going to be taking all sorts of depressants and stimulants and anxiety medications for mental illness. You're going to have a whole lot more ex-military walking around with PTSD in that society 75 years in the future. Based on what I just told you about that society, how it's going to be in 2025, do you think we should add more guns to that society or less? I think everybody in 1950 would have said you're going to have a major problem if the society is that fucked up and you add guns to it. We actually have made it easier to get access to guns in 2025 than it would have been in 1950. And of course, the guns are far more powerful. So I think Charlie Kirk is right about that. The only thing I disagree with is him saying it's worth it. I don't think it is worth it whatsoever. And I'm sure his wife now no longer thinks it's worth it as well either. And his kids won't grow up thinking it's worth it either. Galen Merrick, thank you for the support. Appreciate that. Says the Second Amendment gives us the right to organize a militia. We should make one to guard events and political leaders. To guard our community, schools, and churches, let veterans lead it. Well, there's a couple things I'm going to push back on. Okay, now you said the Second Amendment gives us the right to organize militias. That is true. Now the rest of it I have a little bit of a pushback on. We should make a militia to guard events and political leaders. Here's the problem. Let's say during 2020 when Trump was saying the election was stolen and you need to protect the integrity of the election. Now you could have possibly militias guarding folks on the wrong premise, because now they're standing around polling places and things like that, and they're operating under the advice of Trump that people are trying to steal the election, when history has shown us so far that he just made all that up. So you could end up having a militia fighting for the wrong cause if somebody's lying to them. And obviously, based on what happened on January 6th, a whole lot of people with little to no proof just showed up because it was only 2 months and 2 days after the election. In fact, Trump's own Attorney General, Jim Barr, was still investigating his claims of election fraud. So on January 6th, they had absolutely no proof at that point that anything was being stolen other than Trump saying it. And they would have, those folks, if Trump had a call for them to become an armed militia, they would have done it. They would have done it. So I agree with you. It gives you the right to form a militia. But if the militia is working on the wrong cause, I don't know if that's a good thing or not. You said to guard our communities, schools, and churches, let veterans lead it. Problem with veterans also is an issue is that a lot of them got PTSD. Do you really want to give somebody with PTSD a security gig? I mean, look, I'm fine with the veterans doing it in some cases, but then again, they got to be paid and things like that. I mean, look, we've put a lot of veterans on the police force, and folks come straight from a war zone. And then they start, patrolling and operating on the streets, supposedly protecting and serve us. And as a result, some of them folks have the same mentality that they saw on the war zone, and they bring it to your community. So there's good and bad to it. I don't know if you want to take veterans that came straight from fighting wars and put them over Americans. It can go right and it can go very wrong. I sent you a video on Instagram of how there is a correlation with Charlie Kirk's death and the beginning of Nazi Germany reign. I have not seen that, Will, but I would love to know how that correlates. Charlie Kirk's death and the beginning of the Nazi Germany's reign. Wow. Just gets more frightening as it goes on. All right, let me go to the box again. I don't want to hear an excuse that you don't see me. Okay, well, I'll get you next. Dick Cow, good evening. Welcome to the program.
What's up, man? You trying to get me cussed out because I took grandma's spot?
I was clicking on your name, but I happened to see that comment from her, so she'll come up. So
Yeah.
now Will on YouTube talked about. Have you heard of anything that might lead, a correlation between what happened to Charlie Kirk and the beginning of Nazi Germany? Does that make any sense?
I mean, there could always be. Well, you can make comparisons to everything. You can make comparisons of him and what was his name, Goebbels, who was the director of propaganda for Nazi, and he was out there and he did the same thing. He utilized the youth. He went.
Let me ask you too, then, like, so that we're not disrespecting the president. Do you see any similarities or relationships to the Hitler regime and President Trump at all?
Yes, it's a bunch of things that he has done in him consolidating power in the executive branch is exactly what the mustache man did when he came into office. He dismantled all of the agencies that would hold them accountable. He got control of the judiciary, so they would not push back on him. He's doing the exact same things that Trump is doing. He's using propaganda to demonize people, to make it so when he attacks them, the people around them will say, well, they are vermin, they are poisoning our blood, they are the ones who are destroying our country. They're the ones who prevent us from being great. Like, he's doing a lot of the exact same. I believe it when they said that his wife said he used to have a copy of Mein Kampf next to his bed. I believe that. I believe he studied the great dictators of our time. He's friends with all of the dictators.
Yeah, speaking of that, now that part I absolutely agree with. Did you hear, Brazil just convicted a former leader down there that was trying to be a dictator.
Bolsonaro.
Trump was a buddy. When this guy just got 20-some years in prison, he was considering assassinating his version of Joe Biden. He was going to kill him to stay in power.
And he did the exact same thing that Trump did. He tried a coup, but he was unsuccessful. And now his people are holding him accountable, while our people failed to do that for us. He did the exact same thing as Trump. He said the election was fake. He tried to use the military. He tried to commandeer the military to go against the people. And now Trump says, I'm going to give them a 50% tariff because they're treating Bolsonaro badly.
Whatever happened to America First? We're going to get out of overseas. Why would you be punishing a country because you don't like how they treated some dude in it?
Right. Now everybody drinking coffee shit is up 50%.
Yeah.
Because he pissed off because they're another country, which they said America First. We're going to leave those other countries alone. That's what he said.
Yeah.
I'm an anti-war president. I don't like death. But every turn, he talking about using the military to conquer somebody else. He didn't talk military about Canada, Greenland, Panama. Now he talking shit. He's over there talking about shooting down planes in Venezuela.
Yeah, but let me ask you this, because MAGA, Trump supporters in particular, that was one of the claim to fame, as opposed to Biden and Obama and Bush, we had no new wars under Trump, and that was one of the reasons they voted for Trump, is because he was going to get us out of overseas conflicts. But as you're stating, he's getting involved. Why do you think? Why is MAGA not holding them accountable for that? Because he is talking about, whether it's Iran or finishing off the Hamas in Gaza. I mean, you mentioned Greenland, obviously making Canada the 51st state. I mean, he is talking about getting involved in a whole lot of conflict. Why don't you think MAGA, who voted for him because he's not, he hasn't started, a lot of wars haven't started under him, why are they suddenly okay with all of this?
I have no idea. It's baffling to me. I mean, I know it's a lot of work to do it, but shoot, somebody need to go back through your timeline and go back and pick up MAGA reacts and all of them people when he came in and we said he's failed at stopping these wars in one day. They said, give him some time. And we said, how much time? And they said, at least give him 6 months to see if he can work it out.
I'm going to have to start taking some kind of notes, because I would like to, because I get a lot of the same guests. I would like to be able to go back and pull up some of their old clips.
Yeah, I don't forget the shit that they said. I don't forget the shit where they said he was fear mongering when we said that he was gonna give police immunity, and now he's essentially done that. He's made the whole fucking government, the executive branch, a part of the fucking ICE now. He got damn Secret Service agents walking through neighborhoods in D.C., Homeland Security officers walking through D.C., fucking with people.
But what about the notion that, okay, I hear what you're saying, but what about the notion that despite him doing all of that, crime has dropped sharply in D.C., so folks are saying, yeah, he's doing something a little different, but they should be thankful because people are not getting killed in D.C. anymore.
Listen, you can post damn military and government agents on every block in the hood. Will crime go down? Yes. That's not something he did that was magical. The magical part is when they fucking leave, and they will leave, is crime going to be gone? It's not. You have not solved the problem.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can take a pew-pew away from a murderer, and he probably won't do nothing until he gets another gun.
Yeah, but here's the point they're going to make. They're going to say, listen, even if it's a temporary fix, while it is happening, lives are being saved, crimes are being stopped. So even if the National Guard has to leave, and if they're going to suggest that while there is no murders and carjackings and rapes and all this stuff happening in D.C., it's worth it even if it's only temporary.
Listen, I'm not trying to hear that bullshit about if it's temporarily solved. People want solutions in their lives. They don't want to be able to walk down the street for 2 weeks and then it goes back to normal. We're looking for solutions to the problems, and you're not going to get to them by moving the military all around to all of these blue states. You're not stopping crime. You're just delaying them. Crimes are still happening in D.C. Crackheads still getting high. People are still getting raped. We're just not hearing about them because people are not doing them out in necessarily the open like they would be doing them.
Yeah.
All of that means is crime just went indoors for a few weeks while they look out the window and be like, look at them fucking idiots walking up and down the street.
I got something else I want to ask you, but before I do, Will G in the comments says, just like the Nazis used fire, you talking about Kristallnacht, just like the Nazis used the fires in Germany to blame and arrest political opposition and for one party system, Trump is trying to consolidate the government. We'll use Charlie Kirk to blame and arrest the Democrats. Do you see any possibility of that whatsoever? Him using the death?
Look, I'm not like a conspiracy theorist, but knowing how Trump operates, knowing that he doesn't give two shits about nobody, and not even Charlie Kirk, now that he's been elected, look, this shit doesn't happen. They can't find the motherfucker. They probably will find him eventually. But he on Truth Social even before the family's been notified.
Yeah.
He dead. then 20 minutes later, our FBI leader is on there talking about we got him in custody.
Yeah.
20 minutes after that, the local police said, we ain't got nobody in custody. Then he comes back and says, we had to let that guy go, but we got another guy in custody.
Yeah.
And then about an hour later, they said we had to let him go too. Now,
well, let me just say it like this.
FBI.
Trump operates on ratings, so Trump likes to be the center of attention. So he, let me be the guy to announce his death, or let my administration be the, we want to announce that we caught somebody. I mean, I just think he likes the sensationalism stuff. But you're right, Cash Patel, the FBI is doing a terrible job. I mean, because the two people, the old guy they grabbed at first and the second, those folks receiving death threats. You fucking up people's lives saying that they did something that they had nothing to do with. Those guys have acted because they had to go on TV and say, please don't threaten this guy. He was just a suspect. You don't let people to think. Go ahead.
And now, in any other investigation that I can recall, they never have the damn director of the FBI go to the scene. They don't have no suspects in office. From my perspective, he down there to run interference.
No, that's what I was going to ask you. And I said I had something else I wanted to ask you. Because you're talking about Cash Patel actually going there and all of this stuff. Why is Charlie Kirk getting such a, the hierarchy in terms of treatment? Whereas I mentioned Melissa Hortman, and I think the guy was Tom Thurman or whatever, the senator from Minnesota, and Melissa Hortman here, the representative. They didn't get flags lowered at half-mast. They didn't get a visit.
Look, I want to make a correction because I reviewed that. Trump did after Mike Walls. Tim Walls.
He went to Minnesota?
No, he didn't go there. But he did, after Mike Walls lowered the flags half-mast, he did the same thing on the federal. I just want to clear that up because I thought the same thing as you.
Okay.
But what he did not do is what every president probably in the history of these types of events is contact the government, send his condolences, and then contact the families. He did not do none of that. He said it was a waste of time going to talk to the lunatic libs.
Yeah, and I see in the comments someone is saying that the reason that didn't happen, Brian Poole says, because no one knew them. I'll leave that one for you.
They were actually in our government. What do you mean?
Yeah.
The people elected them into office. They were actually elected officials. They didn't get the vice president to go pick up the bodies and deliver it to the damn people's homes. They're not getting the Presidential Medal of fucking Freedom. And they were actually people that worked in our government, that elected officials, not internet influencer.
Well, Brian Poole says Charlie was a star. That's why Charlie got the attention, because he was, somehow, some way a star. I'm with you. I mean, these folks were actually elected officials. Charlie was a star who was just a regular citizen. I don't know how he gets the vice president to show up and pick his body up and things like that at the cost of the taxpayers, by the way. We had to pay for his body to be sent back to Arizona or wherever he's from. I don't see how the hell that's justified. It makes no sense to me, even if he is a star, because he ain't everybody's star.
And the expense, they actually flew his body on Air Force Two on the vice president's plane. It wasn't like they chartered him a plane. Like they probably spent tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on that move.
Yeah. Yeah, I just saw it on News Nation there. You got a bunch of pallbearers that were all in uniform. So the military, acted as the pallbearers. I mean, they're going to give him damn near like a veteran's funeral. I mean, like a guy who died with honors or something like that. And that's
just like Ashley Babbitt. They're giving her the same thing.
But at least she was a veteran, though. But she was actually.
She was a veteran, but you don't get full. Whatever the veterans burial. Like, you don't get full honors for damn kicking in the damn window and trying to go into the damn Capitol. I don't give a damn who you is. If you're a veteran, your job is to honor the Constitution. She broke the Constitution.
Well, the argument is going to be made that Ashley Babbitt died fighting for what she thought was voter integrity. I mean, she was misled by the president, but she died trying to fight to make sure the elections were fair. I guess I'm stretching. I am stretching, and I'm going to fucking admit it.
Constitution, brother.
Yeah,
I went through it. I did the same oath that she did. Nothing in there says it's okay, even if you're wrong.
Yeah.
If you believe that you was right, that's not what it says.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
We're not gonna give her a participation trophy.
I can't argue on behalf of Ashley Babbitt. Only thing I would correct you on is I would say she didn't break the window out. It was broken out for her. She was gonna climb through it.
I don't like to call you a fluffer, man, but that you crossed the line, bro.
But she didn't. Ashley Babbitt did not break out any window. She was climbing through one that had been previously broken a few seconds earlier.
Yes, with somebody on the other side telling her stop, or I will, I will unalive you. So just before we go, the last thing is what people are not paying attention to is a lot of this stuff about how this guy got away and all of this stuff, but how they found the weapon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he dropped it in the woods somewhere, and it had people forget that they already said that they found ammunition with transcribes on it talking about some stuff about trans and anti-fascist sentiment on it.
So that would make it closer to a liberal actually doing this then.
I mean, it definitely is possible, but I'm saying that regardless if it was a liberal or not, why in the hell is they blaming fucking black people and doing bomb threats to HBCUs and online talking about we gonna get the liberals, this war, and we know who they talking about when they say liberal. They talking about black people.
Well, you know,
not talking about going after. They don't know when they walk out of their front door who's a damn liberal if it's a white person. But guess what? 9 out of 10 times, if it's a black person, they're liberal. Yeah. So we got targets on our back when it was a white person that shot another white person in Utah, where there's about 15 black people, and they all play on the Utah Jazz, but somehow we are in the crossfire for not crying about his death, when he spent most of his time basically saying that black people are inferior and don't deserve the positions that they have if they have success in life.
Yeah. Well said. I mean, the thing about it is, you know what they say, when things go bad, black people, you know, if the world got a cold, black people got the flu. I mean, there are people in regards to if there is civil unrest between the right and left, there are people on the right that are going to go straight to the minority community, because I mean there is some hatred there that people, you know, there is excuses looking for a reason. I mean, there are some folks that and that's probably why, you know, there people are pissed off about Charlie Kirk and they go straight to HBCUs. Those were excuses looking for a reason. Right.
And to Gangsta Grandma, I don't know if that stuff was debunked, but I was watching Fox News and I heard their host say that there were inscriptions on the ammunition, but they refused to talk about that until they get further information. So I don't know. I just know what has been put out, you know, in the news. So if it's been debunked, I have not seen it.
Last question before I let you go. If they do say that there's all kinds of liberal hate messages, do you trust what's coming out of this administration? Because obviously Trump has already blamed it on the Democrats. So inscribing shit would certainly make his statement come to light. Do you feel confident that the FBI would not do something that deliberately tries to put the liberals in a bad light?
That's what I was saying about all of this stuff is just lining up too perfectly to go along with Trump's narrative. If he was smart enough to set this up, he had to do reconnaissance. He had to go up on that roof before. He had to know. Nobody knew where the tent was going to be located before the actual event happened. So that means in a span of a couple of days, he had to go up there, scout the situation out, figure out a way to get up on that roof. Obviously, he figured out a way to get down was to jump off of the roof. I don't think that's how he got on the roof, because he didn't have a ladder.
Right, there's no way he would have been. That's a pretty good jump. You had to be young to even sustain that jump. My knees would be fucked up jumping from that height.
So he jumps off the thing, He runs over into the fucking woods, but somehow he lets them find it. There's no fucking way.
I will say this real quick, what Gangsta Grandma said was debunked. I got News Nation on right now, and on their ticker it says possible markings on ammo. So it ain't been debunked. They're talking about it right now on News Nation as we speak.
It could have been. I'm just saying what I've seen. But all of this stuff lines up in Trump's favor to make his accusation of it being a liberal and releasing all of the anger from his MAGA base onto a whole half of the country for his personal, benefit, for his winning is what we call it.
Yeah. All right, then, Cal. I do got to move it on. Not a good time. Right. Not a good time to be in America.
Remember what I said. Racism is a mental illness.
I agree with that. I do agree with that. Thank you for coming through. All right, moving on with the program. By the way, tap the screen, folks. Get your boy on up to about, we should have been at least around 30,000. THOU. Get your boy on up to 30. Get me on up to 30,000. You can do that. THURID. What is it? THURDY. 30. Get me on up to 30,000. Please do that. You guys know how it works by smashing that like button. It helps out the algorithm. As my FYP is set to MAGA, it brings in more MAGA as well. MAGA are my preferred guests. I don't get a lot of MAGA, but MAGA always will be my preferred guest. So when they call in, we do bring them up. We don't block, ban, or censor them. We let them speak without any concern of anybody trying to limit their time or any of that. It's just right now in this environment, MAGA don't like it because it's right now, he's the president. He's going to be in a hot seat. He's going to face most of the criticism. When Biden was president, it was the other way around. Looking in the comments, though, Will, he says, I also sent you news about Russia is knocking on Poland's door. I'm aware of that one, just like we all, including Vice President Harris, predicted. Yeah, I'm aware of the Russian drones that were shot down in Poland. And I see you said Poland took down Russian drones. Yeah, the problem is we got President Trump in there, and the thought process was finally we got a leader in there that the world not only respects, but the world fears. The United States will be respected under President Trump. These wars would never have broken out if President Trump had won in 2020. And now that President Trump's been in there almost a quarter of his second term, 8-9 months almost, it ain't looking like that. It's not looking like that whatsoever. Putin is obviously not listening to any of the threats from President Trump. Benjamin Netanyahu is running wild. He's a war criminal, even according to most of our allies. Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal. America is like the only country on the planet right now that seems to be siding with Israel. And meanwhile, Israel is using the fact that they have us as a big brother ally to just wreak havoc all over the Middle East. I understand what happened on October 7th was wrong with Israel, but damn, how many countries have they actually struck or launched assaults in since October 7th? Yemen, Syria, I believe they had a strike in Egypt. They hit what they claimed was the head of Hamas in Qatar the other day. How many other countries? Iran, they took part in the strike in Iran. They're bombing shit all over the Middle East. And America's like their only ally in this stuff. And I'm going to submit to you what I said on our last live stream. If we keep following Netanyahu down a rabbit hole, we're going to be honoring September 11th on a different day of the calendar. Because it's getting to the point whereas if you hit America, it's just as good as hitting Israel. Because Israel would not be doing what they're doing if they didn't have the blessing of the United States. We're providing them surveillance, intelligence, weapons, all of that. They would not be what they are now if it was not for the United States protecting them. So soon people are going to just say, fuck it. Let's just go after some U.S. interests abroad because that's who's backing them up. That's who's putting the bullets in the gun. So I do believe under President Trump, things seem to be going awry on the world stage. You may favor his securing of the border. I'm not going to pretend like Trump has not secured the border or some of the things that don't really affect many of us, like protecting the integrity of women's sports. He's done a good job with that, if it actually means anything to your life. But in terms of getting things under control on the world stage, I would give him exceptionally low marks because the Israeli Palestinian war has gotten worse under Trump's watch. The Ukrainian-Russian war has gotten worse under Trump's watch. So I don't see where on the world stage things are getting better. Now we're talking about potentially going into Venezuela. We don't struck Iran. I mean, shit's breaking out every damn where. India and Pakistan almost got into a skirmish. I don't see how things are getting better under his watch in terms of us being a superpower, but maybe you have a difference of opinion. I don't know. I'm commenting on what is this? Cipher Circle says, I don't know. I'm commenting on the host isn't doing anything to cataract his to counter. Okay, your grammar is all off on that. Let me just say something real quick. I got 4 screens there. I'll go back to the box, but I got many screens staring at me. Comments are flying all over the. I've seen people get hit, but I've never seen anybody bleed that much.
Man, that was like flowing, like damn. So you must have did something wrong. That was some
well.
Like drip.
Well, let me say it like this, because we obviously engage in debates here. When I debate with a lot of folks, there are some people who just do not like to lose a debate.
Let me get this handsome liberal, whatever the fuck that motherfucker thinks he's handsome, he's butt ass ugly. Let me tell you something. I don't spearhead. I give it right back at you. I'm not spearheading. I'm telling the truth. You guys over here clapping for the white tea man, and you never will sit at his table, and you butt ass ugly, and you think you want to sit at that white man's table? No, boo boo. Yeah. You boo boo the fool, honey. And that white tea man, that Charles Kirk, whatever you want to call him, let me tell you something. He didn't even like your ugly ass neither.
So, but I don't know. Now Trump is already blaming. Let's go back. Let's go.
I've never seen a white boy drip.
You're making fun of him bleeding after being shot. Do you realize how awful that is?
Well, how long was it when he was talking about the black pilots? How long was it when he was talking shit about the damn kids dying unaliving at the school pew? He thought that shit was a joke. Oh, he'd rather have the pew-pews than what? Are the kids' lives? How ironic. He got unalived at a college campus. How ironic was that?
Yeah, I mean, I get the irony, but laughing at the guy.
That was so irony.
But laughing at
he was dripping.
Let me tell you what our conversation is doing. Mythic Eclipse in the comments says he is leaning further and further right with every day that passes. He says most liberals are a joke. There are some reasonable ones, but damn, it's like a circus right now.
He never was blue. And let me tell you something about this unaliving. You don't think that was an inside job?
No.
Come on now. It was an inside. 200 feet and clocked him. Drip.
But you stop the dripping stuff. That's gross.
That was some shit.
That is.
Why was he there the first time with Donald J. Trump?
Why do you?
Come on, we needed that motherfucker. We didn't need the 2 Republicans that USA did try.
You want to see Trump's neck like Charlie Kirk? Is that what you're trying to say?
Drip. That was flowing, man. Cause I've never seen that shit. That was flowing.
I mean, I get that, but that's awful. You really want to see that? You want to see her?
What was it awful about the kids that got unalived? That got unalived the same damn time? Where is that at, huh? You want to do the flags hashtag for this? For a maggot that spirit hate? How about the kids that didn't know what hate was? That just got unalived? All the kids that got unalived. Where is their sympathy at?
But Charlie...
Huh? Where's that sympathy at, huh?
Charlie
There
Kirk...
was no flag set for there.
Charlie Kirk is entitled to his First Amendment free speech rights. He don't deserve to die.
Okay, and I get that, and I get it too, right? Drip.
Would you stop that shit? Because I keep picturing him bleeding like that when you say that.
God said prayers and tariffs. That's all that bitch gets.
Wait, he gets...
The kids get thoughts and prayers. The kids get thoughts and prayers, right?
Yeah.
Why does he get more shit than the kids do?
That's a good question. I don't have an
And you know
answer for
why?
that.
You know why? Because he's a white tea man and he's hate. All that motherfucker did was pure hate. That's all he spread was hate. Oh, women, well, all we're good for was what? Having kids. We're not supposed to go to college and shit, right?
Did Charlie?
That's what he wanted. He wanted to the women to stay home, be barefoot and pregnant. Drip, drip. Oh, that's all he wanted. He even said if his daughter came home and was sexually assaulted, he would make her have that kid. Drip, drip. All that shit.
You know you are
All that
actually.
shit that she spewed.
You know
Drip,
you
drip.
actually with your drip drip analogy. You actually are the fuel for why the right is so pissed off and talking about war.
I don't give a fuck. Let them be mad. Big, big, big man and all. You big, big, big man and all. Drip, drip. And I guarantee you, I told you, when I told you me and you was talking, I said it was a white man. You said it may not be. It was.
Yeah.
And guess what's going to be? It's going to be a Republican. Because you know what? Not all Republicans are fucking evil. Not all Republicans are doing that.
Yeah.
They're not taking their side. Maybe they got tired of it. They tried, bless their little hearts, tried to unalive the president.
Can we unite under president? Can we actually come together and get away from all this division? Can we unite under President Trump as opposed to making fun of Charlie Kirk and his unfortunate circumstance?
This black man right here. Grandma, you're going to go to hell on wheels. You know what? Let me tell you, I'd rather go on hell on wheels than stuck on a white man's cock like you are.
He said you are hell on wheels. I think he might be complimenting you.
Oh, that's hell? Oh, my bad. I'm high as hell.
Because I got folks all look. I even got folks on YouTube typing in drip drip. I don't want that to be catchy. That is horrible.
It is. Have you ever seen somebody get drip drip like that? Have you ever in your life? I mean, he pissed off somebody so bad that my damn 200 things. And then right when he talked about it, about gangs and the gun violence, booyah, cuz talking on the side of your neck, got popped in the side of your neck and drip drip.
Neural code in the comments says
Let me tell you something. That's some blood shit right there, huh? But I ain't no blood, honey. I'm cuz. Drip, drip. That was some drip, 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 drip.
Stop it. Neural code.
You know I'm lying. Am I lying, though? Am I lying?
You're being facetious. You're being facetious.
Let me tell you something. The irony. I'm telling you, the irony of all this. The irony. Drip, drip. The irony. Man, I promise you, it had to be.
I'm hearing that this guy. Hold on. Neural code in the comments said that Charlie Kirk is now a martyr. I mean, he is somebody that will.
A martyr. You know what? He ain't no martyr. He's hate. That ain't no Christian. And even if some Christians are coming out and saying, "Don't do that," he isn't no Christian, and he isn't. Just because Christians, let me tell you something. Know the Bible, and what the Bible says is, you do unto others as you want them done unto you.
True.
You preach. You talk to people. You go out and you feed the needy. You bring in the immigrants. What did this white man do? No, he didn't bring in the immigrants. Yeah. He said they are the stain of our blood. They're poison to our blood. Yeah, that's Germany right there. Drip, drip. Drip, drip. That's drip, drippy season.
I don't even know where to go with your comment is so awful. You're literally making fun of somebody being killed.
You know what? I don't celebrate his death. Hallelujah.
Could have fooled me.
Drip, drip.
Stop it.
Why do I gotta say rest? Why do I have to be mourning an ugly?
I'm giving you your time. But man, you that's awful.
You know what? I'm gonna make me a sign that says drip, drip. And I'm gonna put it on my cover. It says drip, drip. And I'm gonna be singing drip, drip. That's a poppin' ass shit.
You're pissed. I got hundreds of MAGA right now. You're pissing off my audience with that.
They can kiss my black ass too. Drip, drip. You know what I'm saying?
And you wonder why MAGA has a problem with liberals.
Let me tell you something. Well, we didn't do that. They coming for our black asses for nothing. They always hate on us. You know why? Because we got the BBC. We got chocolate all damn day. They infatuated with us, and they hate us so bad because their hair be falling out and every damn thing else. You know what I mean? They hate our black asses because they want to beat us so bad. You know what I mean? But that's okay though. Drip, drip. Somebody took his ass out. Who did it? And I tell you, the white man and the Republican did it.
Let me ask you a simple question. Do you
now look at Big Dog. That's not cool, Granny. Drip, drip.
Tim, you better.
It ain't cool what they doing to us, neither. It ain't cool when they did it to the kids, neither. Did it?
Let me. Hold on. Hang on. Hold on.
Something, Tim. When did the president say anything about those kids being unalived? The same time that piece of shit did. Where's the outrage? Where's the outrage?
I've already made it clear. I don't think the right really is concerned that much when children lose their lives in
They
schools.
don't give a damn because you know why? It wasn't their fucking kids, right? Oh, but it's almighty, the little Jesus right there, the second coming. Oh God, unalive.
But let me ask you to you. Hold on.
Get the fuck out of here.
Let me ask you to you this way, because this is a comment that makes a lot of sense from Big Dog. He says, 2 wrongs don't make a right. It could be you tomorrow. How do you feel about a statement like that? That what you're saying may be wrong on their side, but you doing the same thing.
They already had another shooting, right? At a Naval Academy.
I didn't even hear about that one. Was that today?
You know what? Let me tell you guys something right now. I'm so done. I'm not going to suck on a white man's cock. Big John, whatever the fuck you is, you want to suck on a white man's cock, go ahead. You want to say, oh, 2 wrongs don't make it right? These motherfuckers are not following the fucking rules. None of these bitches are following the fucking rules, okay? They don't give a fuck about your black ass. You will be next tomorrow. What the fuck is wrong with you? And then over here, don't say drip, 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 bitch.
I don't like the drip,
because
drip.
They don't give a fuck about us, Tim. They don't give a fuck about your kids. They don't give a fuck about white kids or nobody else's kids. They didn't give a damn. They put the flags down for a racist piece of shit. But they did not do it for our kids. That every time they get out alive, it's once a week or twice a week in the United States. And not one motherfucker did that to our kids. But they did it to a racist piece of shit. And they didn't fly their bodies home, did they? Fuck no, they didn't. So fuck you and fuck everything about you. How about that?
All right, gangster grandma, I'll leave it at that.
You know what? Let me tell you something else. Drip, drip, drip. I'm glad the son of a bitch is gone. Bye-bye. Toodles.
Okay.
One less racist.
Okay, listen, I don't condone or agree with that whatsoever. I do believe in free speech, so I can't make the promise that I don't block, ban, or censor and then not adhere to it. So while I do occasionally have people on the program saying things I don't agree with, the whole premise of the program is uncensored. So we don't censor, zero censorship. So you're going to hear things you don't like, unfortunately. I don't condone celebrating the loss of life of anyone. I don't agree with I don't agree with hardly anything Charlie Kirk has stated over the years. I don't agree with much of anything he said, but I don't think the guy should have lost his life for speaking his mind. And I mean, the drip drip thing is deplorable, but I see a hell of a lot of people in my comment section either hate it or love it. I mean, I can't tell you how many folks don't type drip drip in the comments since she started saying that. It's kind of like when Trump says Sleepy Joe or Nervous Nancy or, bird brain, and then all of a sudden MAGA starts repeating the same phrases. Drip drip is catching on. I hope it doesn't go any further than that. Mystic Eclipse. It's not irony. It's the unwillingness of the left to sit down and debate and discuss. They would rather have violence. Wow. Let me tackle it from this standpoint. I don't know if I agree that the left would rather have violence. I would say that there's some folks on the left that would probably prefer violence, but there are many folks on the right that are yelling "fuck around and find out." So I don't want to suggest that everybody on one side of the aisle. I don't. Neither side should be blamed. The whole party should never be summarized based on the actions of some people. I mean, look, there's some people on the right that says racist shit. Does that mean everybody who's right? No. So I don't want to say that everybody on the left does not want violence. You're looking at somebody who does not want violence. However, when you say the irony is the unwillingness of the left to sit down and debate and discuss, I don't think that there's any avenue for that. Right now, Trump has all the cards, as he once told Zelensky. There's no need to sit down and debate with the left. If the left sits down and debates with the right, the conversation is going to go something like, "You don't have any power. This is what we're going to do, whether you like it or not." I don't know what would be the goal of sitting down and debating. You don't have to adhere to anything the left wants, and I don't think Trump is going to do that. So you can sit down and debate all you want, but at the end of the day, that side is going to get everything. Like for instance, what's going on with Texas, the gerrymandering in Texas. You can debate that all you want. At the end of the day, they're going to do what they're talking about doing, which is finding Trump 5 additional seats. You can sit down and debate how you feel about rolling back Roe v. Wade. At the end of the day, they're going to still be in favor of rolling back Roe v. Wade. Same thing with the transgender community. All of the things that the left is complaining about, they don't have any power. So you can sit down and debate all you want. You're not going to get anything. So I don't see the purpose of doing that because nothing's going to come out of it. Who is calling the other side demons? That's a good point, Agoff. Twitter, you're saying that the left is, you're countering the notion that the left is doing. Yeah, the right is calling the Democrats demon rats or demoncrats. Yeah, they are doing that. They are absolutely doing that. It's in my comments on every show. Democrats, demon rats, you name it. The Democrats are complicit in celebrating murder. That is true. I can't disagree with that. I don't like it, but I will push back from one angle. All Democrats are not complicit in it. Joe Biden, Obama, they released statements, and their statements were very sympathetic to what happened to Charlie Kirk. So, like I said, if you don't want everybody on the right blamed for some of the awful actions of a few, you can't do it to the left and then complain while it's being done to the right. Because there's going to be extremists and idiots on both sides of the aisle. Everybody on the left does not feel the same way as, say, my last guest. Everybody on the left don't feel the same way I do. The left is not a uniparty. I mean, some were yelling genocide, Joe gotta go. Some were saying they were in favor of Israel. So you can't just group them up like that if you don't want them to group you up like that. Granny drip drip is happening to blacks in all liberal cities, and you haven't talked about it as much as the. Wait a minute, let me see if I can get this right, Edgy. I know what you're saying. You're talking about black on black crime is not being addressed as much, but I'm gonna read your comment and give it justice. You're saying Gangsta Granny's drip drip is happening to blacks in all liberal cities, and you haven't talked about it as much as this proving you don't care for blacks. You just want to see whites suffer. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think you care about it either. I don't think that the Republicans care about black on black crime. I don't think you care about that. I think you're using black on black crime as an excuse to do what you want in those cities. I don't look at Trump and say, man, this is a great guy to end black on black crime. I don't think you care about that. You don't care about poverty in black neighborhoods and all that. No, you just want to be able to send the military in to throw your weight around. Otherwise, you would do something about the homelessness in black on black cities. You would do something about the poverty, the low salaries, the stuff that is actually causing the crime. I don't see you doing nothing about that. So I'm going to push back on you and say, I don't think you care about black crime in liberal cities. But I appreciate your input. And like I said, if I see something where Trump is doing something to actually improve the quality of black neighborhoods and cities, I'll give him credit for it. I don't see him sending jobs, or like I said, I don't see him increasing salaries or helping people out with health care, doing anything for the homeless. I'm not seeing him do any of that stuff. I'm just gonna send a whole bunch of badges in your neighborhood, a whole bunch of law enforcement to your neighborhood and lock people up. And I'm going to remove cashless bail, so even when we get the poor ones, they're gonna spend time in jail. All I see him doing is being gung-ho about locking people up. We've had 3-strike laws. We've had Biden's crime bill. We've had the war on drugs. How much more proof you need that being tough on crime alone doesn't do anything? Does anybody look back at the war on drugs with all of those draconian sentences and say that was a success? Does anybody look back on the crime bill and say it was a success? Does anybody look back on the 3-strike laws and say, yay, that was an awesome thing to do? If you're tough on crime and you don't address the reason why crime happens, it's not going to go away. I just gave you 3 fucking examples that we've tried in the last 40 years, and they've all been chalked up as a failure. And here he comes talking about another crime bill and getting rid of cashless bail. Going to just do it all over again. Anyway, looking in the comments, though, unemployment for black women has increased by 40% since Trump was sworn in on January 20th. Wow. I didn't know it was that high. What about white-on-white crime? We can't talk about that here, Tyron. We can't talk about that. It's off limits. Let me go back to the box. White-on-white crime. Shame on you. Shame on you to bring that up. King Finn, good evening. Welcome to the program. Tap the screen, folks. Get your boy on up to about, what am I in? I can't even see it. King Finn, good evening. Is that 30 or 80 up there? Tap the screen.
35.
All right, get your boy up to 50. 50, F-I-D-D-Y. Tap the damn screen. King, you're not the drip type, right?
Well, I kind of...
Say something positive. Say something positive.
Cooking up in the hot box, drip. I'm not, listen, again, like I told you yesterday, I'm not celebrating this death, but I'm not upset about that shit. Y'all are crying. MAGA's losing their fucking minds because a fascist dog got shot down in the fucking streets. A fascist, racist dog got shot in the streets. A fascist, racist dog.
What is Charlie Kirk? Wait. What the hell has Charlie Kirk did to make you say he's a fascist, racist dog? Where are you getting that from?
Yesterday we tried to inform you of this shit. Did you go listen to any of his speeches?
I got some of his quotes here ready to play, but I didn't hear anything. Fascist, racist. Give me something fascist. Give me an example. I'll look it up.
You know what? To be honest with you, I don't have enough examples of the shit to give you. I don't really even care. Because unfortunately, Charlie Kirk don't make a big dent in my motherfucking budget. What I do care about is the motherfucking kids that can't never get home safe. What I do care about is them 3 kids at Naval Base that got shot. What I do give a shit about is my state legislators being unalived. I care about that shit, but Charlie Kirk, not high on my fucking list. And you need to stop fucking fluffing, dog. You was talking to Decal, and you was fluffing so hard. There was so much Cheeto dust on your motherfucking shirt. I can't believe you said that shit. Earlier, you made the assumption, or excuse me, the equivocation between Charlie Kirk and Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. Are you out of your fucking mind?
No, I'm not.
Are you fucking serious right now?
No, I'm not. No,
pick some better motherfucking examples, because Charlie Kirk wasn't shit like Malcolm or Martin.
Okay, let me explain, because what you're saying does make me look like a piece of shit for the way you worded it, but it's not true. I'm not equivocating Charlie Kirk and Martin Luther King in terms of their moral standing. I'm just simply saying they both were the head of a movement. You can be the head of a demonic movement as well. So when I say I'm seeing that they both were the head of a movement. So was Malcolm X.
Okay.
That's it. That's the only thing they have in common.
Don't bring up Malcolm and Martin. Bring up Jeffrey Dahmer and Charles
Jeffrey
Manson.
Dahmer wasn't the head of a movement. He was just hungry.
Charles Manson was.
Yeah, Charles Manson was. Charles Manson was. Somewhat.
What was the crazy motherfucker now in Waco? How them people drink the Kool-Aid too? Jim Jones.
Yeah, you talking about Jim Jones.
Jim Jones was one of them, but it was another dude in Waco who had a compound too. Name them motherfuckers. Don't name 2 people who fought for something that was actually real. Because Charlie Kirk ain't fighting for shit. Charlie Kirk is fighting for bullshit.
Charlie Kirk.
Well, let me do what you might refer to as fluffing again. Charlie Kirk is fighting for shit. He's fighting for the conservative family values. Now, listen, I get that it might not be favorable to black people. I get that because a lot of folks on the right believe in replacement theory. Hold on, hang on. But if you do believe in replacement theory, you do believe in making America great again the way it used to be, Charlie Kirk is fighting on behalf of that. It doesn't favor people like you and me. I get it. So you're not going to favor that movement. But for people who will be much better off, if America was the way Charlie Kirk wants it, they see him fighting for a movement. Just like the world would be better off for you and me if it became the way Martin Luther King wanted it. That's why I'm comparing them.
So Charlie Kirk was fighting for women to basically be stripped of their rights and stay at home under their husbands. Charlie Kirk was fighting for trans people and gay people, the whole alphabet community to basically be washed away. Charlie Kirk was fighting for gangsters and 2A gun right conservatives. Ain't that kind of fucking ironic?
It's ironic that he talked about, some gun deaths are worth it to maintain the Second Amendment, and then he dies from a gun death. Yeah, that's a lot of irony in that.
Ironic, isn't it? That's extremely ironic, isn't it? Isn't that just? Ain't that just the topping on the motherfucking cake?
It did not age well.
Was basically saying we should be able to get rid of these gangsters. Pop.
Yeah.
Trip.
Literally. Jesus. Literally, the last word to come out of Charlie Kirk's mouth was violent. There was the word violent. That's the last word he said was violent. And then bang, he got hit.
Mm-hmm. Ain't that a bitch?
Yeah. I mean,
ain't that a bitch? We got time. Wait a minute. Well, we got time to talk about Charlie Kirk for days. It's gonna go on for weeks.
Why is that? I'm going to ask you that.
Trump to go with HBCUs. Why?
But I'm going to.
Why?
Well, you said
why he passed away doing something he liked, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. You're correct. He died doing something he liked doing.
Well, what about these kids, dude? This is my problem with it. Fox News got this shit up 24 hours a day. CNN got more coverage on this shit than they got on the people, on the kids that got shot or that fucking Navy base. We're still talking about this motherfucker, but he ain't doing shit. He wasn't doing shit before. And somebody, all he did was help get a racist fascist in office.
Well, in line with what you're saying, Infinity even says Russia violated Poland's airspace. NATO country says we're not even talking about that anymore. He says, and the orange Jesus, oh my God, said it was just a mistake. What's going? Yeah, Trump did say that. Trump did say that the Russian drones that went into Polish airspace might have just been a mistake. Like, how many more excuses you gonna make for Russia? What the hell is that? It was a mistake.
It was a mistake, right? Okay, well, NATO's not playing that shit. You get that, right?
I don't know.
Trump might not jump up for the 5. Trump might not jump up for the 5A, but I can tell you now, those European countries over there that are still in NATO and still, paying and getting their money together, they're not going to play that shit with Putin. While Putin over there laughing at him. Y'all, all these these stupid MAGA motherfuckers talking, oh, Putin respects Trump. No, the fuck he don't. He got a brand new commercial out. Just came out today talking about how the fuck Trump can't keep his own people safe. How he can't keep people in this country on this soil safe. But you're supposed to be the person that's running around the country, running around the world talking about saving democracy and saving freedom, and you can't keep your own motherfucking people safe in your own fucking country. How much do you think Putin gives a fuck about what Trump says? He don't.
In my opinion, yeah, at this point, it is starting to look like Putin. I don't want to say laughing at Trump, but he don't show any signs that he respects Trump. Doesn't show any. I mean, and then you got him doing something like this. And this is what I was talking about. The last live I did or the one before, I stated that I don't believe that if Russia attacks Putin, that America under Trump could be depended upon to meet their Article 5 obligations. Here it is, they do something, and Trump is like, it was a mistake. He's already making excuses for Russia. I don't believe if Russia attacked Poland under Trump, I don't believe we would rush to defend them like we're required to under NATO. I think Trump would come up with a reason to not do that.
We didn't rush to what do we do with Ukraine?
They're not NATO. They're not NATO. We're not obligated. Well, we are kind of obligated. We did make a promise to them too.
Doesn't even matter. Whatever the fuck you say, one of our presidents went over there and said, we will defend you. We will protect you, and made a deal with these people. what did that fat piece of shit go do? He said, "Oh, we ain't doing that no more, and stop sending arms over there." Because you know MAGA believe he been sending money. He ain't been doing a motherfucking thing. He ain't doing shit. He basically told Zelensky, you need to do what you need to do. Go in there and bow down to this motherfucker. Just because Putin got Trump's motherfucking ass by the ankles, don't mean Zelensky need to bend over too.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. You know, I don't want to speculate or play conspiracy theories, but I don't know if Putin has something on Trump or what. Because, like, how many times do you got to threaten this guy and he not adhere to your threats before it becomes clear that your threats have no weight on Putin? I mean, he's threatened Putin about 6 times at this point. Like, okay, and now he's, threatening them again. Like, I mean, at some point, you should understand this guy ain't gonna do nothing. He's not gonna adhere to what you're saying.
All empty. All of the threats are empty. Putin ain't worried about it because Putin know he can come back over here and bend him over a motherfucking chair. The fuck he worried about that shit for?
That's a big graphic. Sounds like you've been watching South Park.
What you mean?
Let me ask you.
What you mean? He gonna come right back over here, being Trump over a chair like he did for the last 3 hours when he ran on the motherfucking red carpet, clapping like a good little bitch. What you think Putin said when he got into the beast? Yeah, good bitch. Thanks. Fuck out of here, man. That's just a joke.
I don't want to go that far. I don't want to go down that path, but I will say that I fell for it too. I actually did believe that if Trump got elected as opposed to Kamala Harris, we would be respected more in Russia, because I thought Trump and Putin had a relationship and he could end the war between Russia and Ukraine pretty quickly. But damn, does it now appear as if I was wrong? I mean, that war is going on and Putin is just stepping the game up. But before I move it on from here, I want to ask you something. Is there any way at all that we could unite while Trump is president? Can we unite as a country under him?
You know what? And this is a real simple answer. No. If there was a way that you could stop MAGA and all of the Republican Party from bending over to Trump, then maybe we could. Maybe if we could find some common ground before Trump came down that gold escalator and started talking about Obama not having a birth certificate and liberate, basically galvanizing a racist ass base that we now know as MAGA. Because all of them ain't racist, but most of the people that are MAGA are. Come on now.
That's like, how many people voted for Trump? Like 70-something million? You saying most of them are racist?
I'm saying most of them are racist. Yes, I am. Maybe not, but I'm probably pretty damn sure. Did you know that there are 21 sundown towns in Michigan alone? And that's in Michigan in the north, right? I can name a couple of them if you like.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of these sundown towns, but let me just say this. In regards to sundown towns, is there any actual proof where a Negro went into this town and actually ran into trouble in recent times? Otherwise, how do we know they really are a sundown town?
I have proof because I've been to a couple of them. I'm from fucking Michigan. I can tell you now. Cairo, Fenton, Flushing, Traverse City, Iron City, Three Rivers, all of them are sundown towns. And most of those towns that I'm talking about are on my way back to Minnesota.
Wow. Back to Minnesota from Michigan. So we going through the Upper Peninsula or something?
No, I'm talking about through the western side. Because when I drive, I go 94. I don't go to the Upper Peninsula for the simple fucking fact, hell yeah, the Upper Peninsula is racist as fuck. Are you serious?
No. When I was an over the road driver, I've had a few lows. I even took the ferry to take you. I've been all the way at the right across the street from Canada. I've been all the way up to Escanaba and all that, up there in the Upper Peninsula. But it was in the daytime. I wasn't in the sundown town, so I don't know.
I've been all the way up through Michigan. I love passing over the Mackinac Bridge. When I die, I told my wife that's where I want her to spread my motherfucking ashes. Right in the middle of that big motherfucker, because I don't mind being in the middle of the two motherfucking Great Lakes meeting. That's where the fuck I want to be. I'm a true Michigander, all the way from the rooter to the tutor, 10 toes down. But I can tell you now, there are 21 sundown towns, and that's just the ones that we know about.
Wow.
I'm not even talking about the small little villages where you pull in and it's only one motherfucking gas station in the whole damn place, nothing but farms. Not even talking about those. We're talking about actual functioning cities with a government and the whole fucking nine.
Well, like I said, though, until there is some actual evidence that somebody African American went there and faced some kind of recourse, it's just an allegation.
And I just tell you, I've been to those towns.
What happened? What happened when you went to one?
Oh, I was told they didn't like my kind here, boy. I was told, oh yeah, you might want to hurry up and get out of here. Nonetheless, I was already being followed by a fucking store clerk.
All
right. I couldn't go into the motherfucking gas station. The dude told me I had to pay through the fucking window.
Damn. All right, I'll leave it at that, King. I do got to move it on. I'm not denying you because you ain't the only one saying it. So I haven't been there. I just wanted to challenge you on it, but I'm not denying you because when I was on the road, people were telling me to stay away from certain towns too. So like Vire, Texas, for instance. Hey, so I've heard.
Hey, I just want to tell you, like the Migos said, true.
The fuck out of here. I gotta move it. Don't use that. Don't use it. Let Charlie Kirk rest in peace. Bye. All right, tap the screen, folks. I don't favor making fun of the loss of anybody's life. I don't like that. Mythic Eclipse says it's not that Charlie Kirk was a hero. He died standing up for what he believes in expressing his First Amendment right. Sounds familiar? Isn't MLK? Abraham Lincoln was Republican. Yeah, I get that he stood up, but the difference is Martin Luther King was not known for really. Listen, I get that Charlie Kirk was standing up for what he believed in, but a lot of things that he believed in, people believe was oppressive towards others. That's why, whereas I don't think whites viewed Martin Luther King as being oppressive towards them. A lot of folks believe that what Charlie Kirk was preaching on would put them in a bad light. We can debate whether that's true or not. That's a different conversation, but I'm just simply saying, like, folks believe that, he wanted women to, be back in the kitchen, barefoot and pregnant, so to speak. Or he wasn't favorable to LGBTQ folks having equal rights. I mean, it depends. I don't know if Martin Luther King was viewed as an oppressor to anybody during this time. Thank you, Feverish Mind. Appreciate the support. Much love to you. Thank you. Real quick before we continue on. And okay was not oppressive, just ask questions. Says Lambert. Like I said, everybody got a different opinion of, and somebody, wait a minute, Ultra Collector Custom says you need mods. Why do I need mods? I don't believe in censorship. Only time I really will take somebody down from the program is if they just continue to spam the program. So if somebody is typing the same shit over and over again, which I believe might be happening now, if I see you doing that, then yeah, I got no other choice but to block you or put you on timeout or whatever. But normally we don't block, ban, or censor anybody. So try to avoid spamming. And other, spamming and probably the N-word are probably the only ones that we just can't tolerate having that happen. But other than that, we can kind of make do. I do want to make sure I'm putting somebody in timeout because they just keep typing the same shit over and over again. Anyway, looking in the comments, how many people exhaled when we found out the shooter was white? Alter ego, I don't know. Something, I'll give you a better example of exhaling. Remember when there was I think it was a Black Hawk helicopter that crashed into a commuter plane. I think it was in DC a few months back. And Trump started saying the pilot of the helicopter or something like that was DEI. And it came out that the pilot they were white men as opposed to a woman or somebody of color. That is when people exhaled. Because the minute Trump started saying one of the pilots was DEI, everybody pictured it being a black person or perhaps a woman. I think what happened in Utah, everybody kind of knew it was already a white man. I don't think anybody thought what happened in Utah was something that was done by a minority. I think everybody kind of figured that. Certainly not a black person. It might be a Cuban or a Venezuelan that looked white, but I don't think anybody needs to exhale. We all knew that, somebody climbing on the fucking roof and taking a 200-yard shot at a Charlie Kirk event is probably not black. I think in Utah, by the way. So that one we kind of already knew. Laughing my ass off. Yeah, he was so perfect. I'm sick of hearing this shit. Move on, says Hope. Hope Mares or something. Sorry to see you go. Feel free to state your comment and we'll address your comment. You don't have to leave, but if you must, there's nothing I can do. Kirk Fatigue says Allen. Well, Kirk is not going to be discussed much longer. I mean, once he is buried, I don't know, what type of tribute Trump will give him. He's obviously going to receive the Medal of Freedom posthumously. He's not going to lie in state or nothing like that. So this time next week, it'll probably be funeral time or something like that, and soon it'll be all over. I mean, it will die down, but they do have to capture the killer first. As long as they haven't captured him, it's going to continue being propelled in the news. Infinity says, Tim, please do me a favor. Look at where, Kaliningrad, Russia is located. Look at the map and tell me it's clear that Ukraine is not the final stop for Russia. Drone attack, just a repetition. You know something, even without looking at where Kaliningrad or whatever the city you're saying is, the whole region is saying that the Ukraine is not the only place that Russia is going to go. Only member of NATO that I'm aware of that's claiming that Russia's only wanting to deal with Ukraine is America under President Trump. That's the only country, just like what Netanyahu was doing with the folks in Gaza. The only person that's backing what Netanyahu doing is America under President Trump. The rest of the world, and I'm talking about even our NATO member allies in the United Nations, have a difference of opinion. Everybody in Europe believes that Russia is trying to reestablish the Soviet Union. Only Trump is suggesting that somehow that's not going to happen. So I totally agree without even looking up the city you're talking about. Yeah, everybody in the region believes. That's why they were rushing Finland and all these countries were rushing to join NATO. It's because they feel that Russia is trying to reestablish the Soviet Union. But President Trump, obviously being favorable to Russia on every turn, is coming up with every reason for why that ain't true. Even Biden was saying the same thing. I believe Trump's former what was Ambassador Bolton? Even he was saying it, and he had access to all of that. So Trump has been making excuses to some degree to speak favorable of Putin and Russia for a long time. Ever since he came on the scene as a politician, he's been speaking favorable
Bill O'Reilly's
of Russia.
interview. Mr. O'Reilly goes one-on-one with President Trump. Interview will air tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern before the Super Bowl on the big Fox television network.
Do you respect Putin?
I do respect him.
Do you?
But
Why?
Well, I respect a lot of people, but that doesn't mean I'm going to get along with him. He's a leader of his country. I say it's better to get along with Russia than not. And if Russia helps us in the fight against ISIS, which is a major fight, and Islamic terrorism all over the world,
right,
major fight, that's a good thing. Will I get along with him? I have no idea.
He's a killer, though. Putin's a killer.
A lot of killers. We got a lot of killers. Why, you think our country's so innocent?
Wow, Bill.
How many of you folks remember that? Now that's several years ago. This is before. This is a Super Bowl interview between President Trump and Bill O'Reilly during his first term. I think this is back in 2017. You see him there. He was speaking favorably of Putin 7-8 years ago. He has been speaking favorably of Putin ever since he came on the scene. I do not know why. That's why I made the reference. Maybe Putin has something on Trump, or there is no reason to be still speaking favorably of Putin in 2025, indicating that he done launched drones into Poland and maybe it was a mistake. After seeing all the shit he's done in the Ukraine, after seeing him literally ignore all of your threats for the better part of this year, you're going to give him the benefit of the doubt that the drones are a mistake. I do not know why President Trump continues to speak favorable of Putin or try to protect him, up to and including inviting him to Alaska and laying out the red carpet and giving him a military flyover and putting him in the presidential limo. I do not know why he is doing that, because Putin is doing everything against the United States in our interest. I do not know why he's doing that. I can't speak on that. Thank goodness we finally have a smart, handsome voice speaking the truth with grace and poise. I wish my friend Adrian could see this. He has no patience and is hard right. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk, and September 11th. Thank you. Appreciate that, Mike. Give me, I think it is. Thank you. He's working deals. He is an oddball president. BK, you really think Trump is working deals with Putin? You really think, I mean, like, how much more evidence do you need to see? You really think at this point that he's working some kind of deal with Putin? Even though the guy is tearing up the Ukraine right and left? You think if he was making a deal with Putin, the rest of the world would be the way? Look, it's at some point, I would never suggest anybody is in a cult. I don't like using the cult word. But at some point, you gotta actually call out what you see. You gotta call out what you see. I mean, why would you be constantly threatening to sanction Russia and saying you don't like what they're doing if you're making deals with them? That makes no sense at all. Why would Russia step up and escalate their attacks in the Ukraine if they're making deals with America? That doesn't make sense. The only reason someone would say that is as if they are adamantly trying to avoid holding Trump accountable for painting his relationship with Putin in a much greater light than it actually is. Making deals? Wow. Anyway, let me go. There is nothing to suggest that President Trump is currently making deals with Russia. And I'll submit this to you before I go back to the next caller. If this same shit was happening under Biden, the same folks claiming Trump is making deals would be suggesting that Russia is laughing at President Biden in America. But because it's happening under Trump, we're going to somehow come up with a way of giving him the benefit of the doubt that maybe behind the scenes they're making deals and he's playing 4D chess. There is nothing to lead us to believe that they're making deals. Absolutely nothing whatsoever. Going back to the box. People are getting killed. He's killing people in the Ukraine. What the hell you mean he's making deals? Stitch of the Truth. Good evening, Stitch. Welcome to the program. If it brings you up. There you go, Stitch. Good evening.
How's it going, man? How's it going?
You know what I always say, hanging around like Jesse Jackson at a Klan meeting. What's going on with you?
Nothing, man. Football season, watching my kid play his senior football, and I got to tell you, man, I really do not feel, and this may sound strange because I'm no way a Charlie Kirk fan, but I really do feel hopeless for our future. I really do.
Explain. Elaborate. What do you mean by hopeless?
So right now, I'm going to quote Martin Luther King. We cannot be disagreeable without being violently disagreeable. And it seems like that we are at a turning point because everyone, no matter what side you're on, everyone wants to be proven right instead of let's finding solutions. People just want to feel good about being proved right, which is the reason why on the MAGA side, you don't want to use the word cult. I'll use it. Is the simple fact of the matter is that they don't want to be proven wrong. And that's what it comes down to be honest with you.
I do see some of that. I do agree with you that both sides, are fighting to be proven right on many issues. I don't disagree with that. And I will say this when people, because I asked the question myself as well, can we unite under President Trump? But I'm starting to agree with you in many others that are saying no, because the fact is, based on what I've seen, my analysis doing this for so many years with MAGA and liberals and independents and letting everybody speak, we didn't vote for unity. I mean, whether it's promises made, promises kept, or however people want to look at it in regards to Trump delivering on and doing what he said he was going to do, he made it clear he was going to be divisive. He didn't promise unity. He literally ran on division. Now, some would say that, Obama, it started with Obama, or the division started with Biden, or somebody even say it started with George W. Bush. But there is no one who's going to say that Trump got in there and his goal was to turn it around and unite us. He never ran on unity. So I guess we're kind of getting what we voted for.
Well, I didn't vote for this. And, to be honest with you, going back, and I know the last discussion was about Putin, as a veteran of this country, right now, like I told you, my kids are senior high school, and I want him to go to college, and, he's being recruited for football, but I wouldn't want him to go into the military. With this commander in chief right now, I do not see the leadership. I see someone who's loud. That's what I see. I see someone who's boisterous, but those things don't translate into what the commander-in-chief should be, which is leadership. Leadership is the ability to galvanize people in order to meet a common goal. That's why whenever people say Obama was the divider, no, I think the Obama presidency just exposed people who do not want to unite, and then Trump took advantage of it. That's what
I'm going to say always that when people say Obama was the one that started the division, my first response is always I agree with that, because you can't be the first black guy to do anything without it being divisive. I mean, whether we're talking about.
But is that Obama's fault, though? I mean,
no,
that's not Obama who did that.
No, it's not. I said it started with Obama. I just said it started because of Obama. But yeah, if you're the first black person that, what is the guy, Jesse, whatever his name is, that played baseball, anything you do, if you're the first black person to do it, it's going to come with a lot of division, because there's a lot of people who don't want you to do it.
Exactly my point. That's exactly my point. I think me and you are saying the same thing. It may have started with Obama, but Obama was not the catalyst based on policy. Yeah. He was the catalyst because of his skin color, which exposed the divisiveness within our country. And so that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's almost like this, right? If I travel on the road and I happen to make a stop and I notice my tire was flat, it doesn't mean that it was flat the minute I looked at it. More than likely, I ran over something prior to. But they see that, hey, well, look, I see this divisiveness. Obama did it. No, he didn't do it. And we got to look inward. We did this.
Well, but let me say it this way, because here's where some of the divisiveness could have came from Obama. Any American in this country that suggests that racism still exists is going to be viewed as divisive. And I'm talking about no matter what era you're in. When Martin Luther King was talking about racism was happening, he was viewed as divisive. When Obama got in office, whether he said Trayvon Martin could be his son, and he did believe police was mistreating African Americans, that's going to be divisive. Anybody who claims that the police mistreat African Americans or that racism still exists in this country, there's going to be a large portion of white America that's going to see them as divisive. There's no way you can bring up racism without a large portion of white America not liking you.
You know what I don't understand is this. This is why, for the life of me, maybe I was just raised different, but always treat criticisms as opportunities. I know there are certain black communities that we need to do better in. I don't look at that as, oh my gosh, these people are trying to do us harm. No, it's an opportunity for us to get better. Why can't certain white communities follow that same lead? Because if we're talking about, I don't know if I can say essay of women, and we're talking about, underage children, those things happen predominantly in white circles. What is wrong with using that as an opportunity? What is wrong with taking things and saying, hey, look, you know what? This may be a scar on me. This may be a building block on me, but you know what? I'm going to use these things to get better. When have we gotten so fragile that we can't say, hey, look, you know what? I see that other house is dirty, but I need to clean my own house. I need to clean my own room before I'm talking about someone else's room. And if I'm going to talk about someone else's room, then I damn for sure my room better be clean. And that is the issue.
I think you said, when have we gotten so fragile? I think we've always been fragile in regards to what you're saying. We've always had a hard time admitting that our shit stink. We've always had the mindset that our shit don't stink. That's always been that way. We don't like to talk about the pitfalls of America.
Because, you know why? And this is where I'm going to segue to Charlie Kirk. People don't know what love is. All right? Love is more so than just saying, I love you. Love is a verb. So whenever my mom told me, and I used this cliche before, whenever my mother told me that my room was dirty, it wasn't because she did not love me. It's because she loved me. That's the reason why she told me my room was dirty. So whenever, people like Charlie Kirk, that was very good at talking about what was wrong with the black community, I feel as though he didn't necessarily love the white community. Because if he did, he would tell the truth. He would tell the truth that within the white community, hey, look, even though, yeah, black community has its problems, this is the reason why they don't trust us. This is the reason why blacks may feel the way that they would do, and we need to improve upon that. But no, what he wanted to do was that he wanted to make people feel good. He wanted to give the path of least resistance to certain white counterparts so that they don't have to face.
Well, you're not going to get that from somebody on the right, because my observation is most of the complaints that come from the black community are viewed by the white community, at least the right side of the white community, because the liberals tend to agree with the blacks on a lot of stuff, but most of the complaints coming from the black community are often viewed by whites on the right as fictional. Whether it's, like I said, police brutality or systemic racism, most of the right Caucasian group believes that the blacks are just making that stuff up. They just have victim mentality. They're just trying to game the system. They don't believe it.
But see, this is why I don't understand, because to me, I'm not a far leftist. I'm probably center left. But I know that there are things within the Democratic Party that they need to improve upon, that we need to get better at. How can conservatives walk around thinking that everything is perfect? You know the problem I have with the whole MAGA movement? The MAGA movement thinks that there's one singular way to get America great. That is the biggest problem.
Well, George Ebling in the comments says we have the same problems too. So it's not like this problems only exist in the black community. He's saying that the same things black people complain about, apparently they have the same problems as well.
Really? So, here's where I will, and I don't know the guy who said that, but this is what I would say. To me, if we're talking about telling stories, and this is what I mean by this. Whenever we heard stories from our grandparents about how the world was toward the black community, whenever my grandmother told me that whenever she was giving birth to my aunt, she had to stand in the back of the bus in labor and pass out. This true story. These are things that, I heard, and I'm 49 years old. So we're talking about, I heard this 30 years ago. And then my grandmother told me these stories. Or whenever the fact that my mom told me that she remembers that whenever my uncle got a call from Coach Frank McGuire, this is during the 60s, that he was going to be recruited as possibly the first black basketball player for the University of South Carolina. He chose to go in the Navy because he was afraid for his life in South Carolina. These are the stories that happen. So whenever we want to erase these stories or attempt to change the narrative, or the simple fact that I'm telling the story and someone proclaims to me that I am a victim, then to me, that's when I say that, well, we don't have the same issues, because no one's trying to erase their history. It is like changing the narrative for our history. And that is indeed the issue that I see at hand. Who sets the barometer as far as what stories should and should not be told? That is crazy.
Well, that's the way it's always been, though. Our country has viewed stories, particularly those that concern African American history, as not of much significance. I mean, so you say who chooses the narrative of what story should be told? The majority often does.
Well, I agree, but here's the thing: if we rely so much on the majority, whenever we rely so much on the majority, people have been hurt that way. And I can go to World War II. We talk about how the majority, even within the church, how they allowed the majority to tell their story, and people got hurt. And so, that is the issue that, to me, that is at hand. And there are actually a lot of conservative principles that I actually like on paper. But I'll always say this: the conservative principles are not the problems; it's the messengers. You got bad messengers. You got bad messengers who are trying to sell the story of conservatism. The worst messengers.
Give me an example. Give me an example of what you're talking about. Bad messengers trying to sell the story. Explain that.
Okay. Let's look at a prominent representative. Let's look at Byron Donalds. Okay. Yeah. Now, if you look at the little birthday card or whatever that came out, and it had Donald Trump's signature on it. Now, everyone can see everyone with a brain can see Donald sign that card.
The pubic hair signature.
Byron Donald looks at the card like, nope, doesn't look like his signature at all. And I'm looking like, are you serious? And you know as well as I do, in the black community, one of the things that, well, let me just say that. I'm not going to say all, most. You know, we don't like to be played. Don't piss on me and say it's raining. And the main thing is, this is what, you know, when some of these black congressmen come up there, you know, that's on the blogger side and say, hey, well, this is such a racist issue or whatever. How come, you know, most of my district is white? Well, and then they talk about Democrats. Well, if you look at the black Republicans of yesteryear who were in Congress, they represented majority black districts. Yeah. See, they don't talk about that. They don't want to talk about the real history. It's just, oh, the Democrats were the party of the KKK and yada, yada, yada. Well, those black Republicans of yesteryear were socially progressive.
But that's part of the whole denial that the party switch never happened and all of that stuff. I know what you're talking about, but I mean, Byron Donalds, look, he's going to ride with Trump no matter what. I mean, you're never going to get anything about Epstein out of Byron Donalds. He's going to ride with whatever Trump says. That's what's going. I mean, and Tim Scott and
isn't that problematic though?
Yeah.
Isn't that problematic to be lock, hold, and sinker into a man? I would never.
But I gotta counter you. I'm going to be accused of fluffing for this, but I gotta counter before I let you go and suggest that there were folks on the left that knew damn well that Biden's health was not as good as they were claiming, and they kept lying about it too.
Oh, I agree, and I will say that after I saw the debate, I'll be the first one to say I raised my hand, and be like, "Hey, man, we got to find someone different." You won't hear me saying that. Hey, well,
yeah, but I'm talking about the likes of Kamala Harris and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi trying to tell us this guy could do another 4 years. So it's hard for the liberals to talk about, you know, the right just, you know, doing whatever Trump tells them and just blindly following Trump, when you got the left that just would not tell the truth about Biden.
I agree. And I think that, you know, now, not to make excuses, but I think they panicked. And I think that they were trying to figure out a way. No, it doesn't make it right at all. These things, you know, and the other thing that I think about too is this. There are two conventions. If you remember during the time Carter was going up for re-election and he went against Ted Kennedy, you know, they were going heavy. And so it was very hard for Democrats to get unified. And so, of course, Reagan ended up winning the election. And then I go back to whenever Nixon won. You remember they had the Democratic
convention. You said, now you 48? You going to Nixon? You 48 years old?
I'm 49. I'm 49
You going back to Nixon? Keep going, though. Go ahead.
But if you remember in the 60 Democratic Convention in Chicago,
I wasn't around then, but go ahead.
Well, all right. I know you read just like I do. I mean, come on. But but the main thing is that there was a lot of upheaval that was going on. So I think that they were kind of worried about, hey, look, well, we need to have a strong message, and you did have to get unity going against such a strong opponent like Trump, because Trump had the base solidified for the most part. And so I think that, you know, they panicked and they handled it wrong. I'll be the first one to.
Well, and we can respond by saying Trump 2024, they fucked up. I got to move it on, no Stitch. Good talking to you again, man. Come on back anytime.
All right, man. Take care.
Anytime. All right, moving on with the program, by the way, tap the screen, get us on up to 70,000. Handsome Conservative, who are the Progressive Party now and who was the Progressive Party then? That is true. The Republicans were, let me just say it like this. Progressives, the opposite of progressives are traditionalists. Traditionalists believe the country should operate the way the founding fathers intended. Progressives are the ones that are often pushing the envelope trying to make changes. You can tell who the traditionalists are because they're always citing the Constitution and they're always citing the founding fathers. The progressives are always talking about amendments and making changes. And I'm bringing that up because you can clearly tell who's talking about amending things and making changes to the way this country was traditionally founded now. And you can clearly look at which party is talking oftentimes about the Constitution and the founding fathers now, and then compare that to the party that eradicated slavery and was in favor of giving blacks Jim Crow. Now, obviously, getting rid of slavery would have been a progressive move because the founding fathers were in favor of slavery. So when we say progress, when people say the Republican Party ended slavery, yeah, but they were progressives back then. They were not traditionalists. They're traditionalists now. That's the flip. Now, listen, at the end of the day, if you don't want to accept that any type of change happen because then it's going to make things look, it's going to make things look darker than you want them to look, then you don't have to agree with it. That's fine. But ending slavery is no doubt progressive. It required an amendment. It required a fight. It required a pushback against the status quo. That's a just like legalizing gay marriage. That's a progressive move. Feminism, giving women equality. That's a progressive move because you see what the founding fathers wanted. That's traditional. The current Republican Party is based on tradition. They are traditionalists. They were not during the era of slavery. They were progressives back then. But like I said, if you do not want to acknowledge that, and you don't want to look at the fact that the party that fought against the Confederate South is now fighting to maintain their image and their likeliness, talking about we need to make sure that the history of these people is not erased. If that makes sense to you, I don't know what else to tell you. That you fought against somebody who's trying to kill you, and now you're naming shit after the people that tried to kill you and talking about how we need to preserve their history. Obviously, some kind of switch happened. Otherwise, that would make no sense at all. Who fights to preserve the history of their enemy? What group would fight to make sure statues of their enemy remain standing? That makes no sense at all unless some kind of switch happened. Looking in the comments, Lincoln was not against slavery. He saw and was disgusted that didn't confront it. That is true. Lincoln is quoted as saying, if I could end the Civil War by freeing every slave, I would do it. If I could end the Civil War by freeing no slave, I would do it. He was more focused on ending the Civil War and uniting the country. That was his focus. If he could do it without freeing any slaves, he would have done that as well. So that is true. Bro having a framed picture of Prez and Wall is wow. Me having a picture of the president and vice president as well. Well, it used to be a picture of Biden and Kamala Harris. I mean, the picture is going to be up of who is relevant. Because there is possible, I don't know where it's at now, but we're ahead of the game. You may start seeing other things pop up. If it becomes relevant, it'll go up. So understand, we deal with what's politically relevant. Right now, Trump and Vance are the most politically relevant folks on the market. So there you go. He's a traitor, says Larry. Okay. Well, he's the president too. He's currently the president. What's that on the side of my head? I don't know. Skin. Remember, guys, political violence is not the answer. It makes it worse. That is true. But before I go to the next caller, I'll just say this. Leadership starts at the top. Unity starts at the top. If the top is not promoting unity, you're not going to get it from the bottom. And right now, anytime someone accuses Trump of being divisive, usually the counterpoint is, well, somebody else did such and such also. Like I brought up Biden. I better yet, I brought up President Trump with the Shypocalypse Now picture with Chicago in ruins, talking about Chicago is about to find out why we call it the Department of War. And, him tweeting out a picture of Biden hogtied in the trunk of a car. And I had a viewer come on and say, well, Kathy Griffith the comedian had a severed head of Trump. You're not going to get unity if you cannot hold a president accountable without somebody bringing up something that a citizen did. Like he says he's going to take away Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship. Well, she was talking about him too. So we're really making excuses for the president to be divisive. If we don't have somebody say, let's take the high road and stop doing this, it's never going to end. And that person has to be at the top. You can't expect the citizens to be united and the president is divisive until either Trump or the future president comes in and they start leading from a standpoint of unity. We're going to be divided as hell. Jay says liberals and conservatives have distracted us. Liberals and conservatives have us distracted on a cultural war. Real issues are economic, and the most popular policies with the youth are socialist. The socialism thing, socialism is still demonized, but I do agree with you. It is becoming more popular. And I'll tell you why before I go back to the box. Tap the screen, by the way, get us on up to, see if we can get up to 80. We're getting close. Tap the screen. And if you guys want to help your boy get his goal, didn't get a single TikTok cap. You see the goal up there? Give your boy a few TikTok caps. Help out the program. Socialism is becoming more popular with the young folks. And I'll tell you why. Capitalism is not working. A lot of folks, we all would rather have this country remain a capitalist country. But if I go to work every damn day and I can't afford to, maintain a decent meal on my table, I can't afford health care. I'm having a hard time maintaining an apartment. Thank you. Appreciate somebody. Alter Ego. Shout out to you. Making it work. Thank you. Making it rain, rather. Thank you, Alter Ego. Appreciate that. If people are having a hard time getting by under a capitalist environment, you can't blame them for saying, I'm willing to try something else. And fact is, if you look at the way this country has been ran under our capitalistic system for at least the last 40 years or so, the system is becoming gamed so that the average working man or woman is having a harder and harder time reaching the same level as our counterparts from the past. Appreciate that, landscaper. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys. Wow, sometimes you just gotta ask, huh? Thank you, Bama landscaper. Appreciate it. But yeah, the fact is that the youth, the younger class, now seeing it's harder to purchase a home, it's harder to reach the American dream, and the right is just saying, just go out there and keep working. But at the same time, you're against the minimum wage increase. We're breaking up unions. All of that shit make it harder to succeed in a capitalistic environment. If nobody is in favor of you receiving a minimum wage increase, nobody is in favor of unionization. Obviously, the healthcare system, you know how to write for all of that stuff. Make it harder for you it makes it harder for you to get ahead in the capitalistic system. So people are saying, well, look, in the socialism system, a lot of the things that I can barely afford or may not be able to afford at all, I'm going to get that stuff under socialism. Yeah, they're going to tax me more, but under the system of socialism, they might be taxing me 50%, but I'm going to have more shit under the 50% tax than I am under the current system where they're taxing me 20 or 30%. Because 70% of my income is not leaving me enough to get decent health care or to get a decent apartment or to get a decent car or to even think about buying a home. But under the socialistic system, I'm going to get health care. I'm not going to be drowning in college student loan debt. It's going to come in. So that's why people are starting to look at it. It's because they're not getting ahead under the capitalistic system. So unless that changes, it's probably going to become more and more popular with the youth. It's probably going to become more and more popular. Real quick in the comments before we move on. Martin Luther King was a socialist and they killed him for it. Damn. I don't think they killed Martin Luther King because he was a socialist, though. I think they killed him because he was trying to promote equality for African Americans. I mean, most civil rights leaders that have tried to promote equality for African Americans have either received death threats or actually was killed. You cannot fight for civil rights, even in 2025, without receiving death threats. Right now, who is the current civil rights leader? I guess Ben Crump. Jesse Jackson is out of it. He's too old. Al Sharpton, very little. But you gotta realize Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson both probably don't receive at least 1 million death threats each. Both of them probably have received at least 1 million. That's why when people always say that Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson are racist and things like that, which, listen, they might be. They don't see the worst of the white community. I mean, would you expect them to not be affected by it? They don't. If you got black fatigue by what you've seen in modern times, black people going in stores and robbing shit, black people fighting on Carnival cruise lines, imagine how much fatigue you'd have if you attended a few lynchings. So if you can understand having black fatigue, but you don't understand Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton having an issue with white people, then you kind of just not understanding how reality works. because you ain't seen shit out of black people compared to what they've seen out of whites. It ain't even close. I mean, they've attended folks being hung and shit like that. They've attended funerals of people that have been killed. You seeing stuff on YouTube and getting black fatigue. So listen, I'm not defending anybody being racist, but I'm going to tell you this. If you went and fought in Iraq, or if you fought the Japanese in World War II, everybody would understand if you came back home and you hated Japanese or you hated the Iraqis because you fought against them in war. When you think about all of the shit that Jackson and Sharpton have went through at the hands of white America, why would it be so shocking that they might not like a few people? I mean, they've been wrongfully locked up and shit. People have been threatening to kill him. Martin Luther King was standing next to Jesse Jackson when he got assassinated. I could understand why they might. You understand black fatigue and you don't understand that? So just think about what actually happened. Looking in the comments, though, they keep blaming racism instead of the bigger problem, fascism. That's World War II. I don't know. I don't know how to respond to that. I'll just leave it at that. Let me go back to the box. Andrew Holmes has a little spotlight. What do you mean by that? Going back to the box. MAGA reacts. Can we unite under President Trump? Now, I know MAGA is going to come here with a dependable answer. Can we all unite under President Trump?
Yeah, I think we can.
Does he want us to unite under him?
Yeah, of course. He's
You know
said it
what?
a million times. He's gonna fix the economy, fix the wars, and then we're all gonna unite.
So why would he?
He's gonna do a good job.
Why all the name calling if you want us to come together?
I mean, it's just attacking those who attack him. He's got thin skin.
Okay, so
That's how he is.
so
you gotta
if-
take the bad with the good.
Well, this is not an episode of Facts of Life. You take the good, you take the bad, take them both, and then you add the facts. No, what I'm saying is, if you want unity, you're going to have to understand in a country of 360 million people, some people are not going to like you. You can't attack everybody back and then claim you want unity.
No, he only attacks leadership. He only attacks the specific people that attack him.
You think
He doesn't say, all the names are names on people, not names. He never called anybody deplorable.
this picture on the monitor behind me, do you think that's a symbol of unity?
I told you what that was the other day.
But do you think this would unite
Your
people?
caller made a very good point. The last caller made a very good point about his mother telling him his room is dirty. This is Trump telling you your room is dirty, and your room being Chicago.
Okay, do you think this will unite Chicago citizens behind him?
Yeah, they know how their city is.
So when he said,
most people in Chicago know.
so when he said Chicago is so when he said Chicago is about to find out why we call it the Department of War, you're saying that should make Chicago want to unite behind him?
I think that was a stupid off the cuff remark.
I'm asking you, is he seeking unity? If you're
who
doing,
called Chicago Chirac?
I'm asking
Trump
you.
come up with the term Chirac?
Whoever came up with the term Chirac was not trying to unite people, though, MAGA.
He wants to clean up Chicago.
I get that, but I get he wants to clean up Chicago. This is not cleaning up Chicago, though. This shows Chicago on fire with helicopters. You're telling me this poster right here would make the citizens of Chicago want to unite behind him?
Tim, if you don't genuinely believe that he's going to set Chicago on fire, I don't know why you're wasting your
I
time.
just asked you, was the
you
man?
genuinely believe he's going to set Chicago?
That ain't what I'm.
He's trying to parody a movie, okay? And I think he did a bad job, and I told you already it was in bad taste.
I'm asking you, though.
You always have me debate things that I don't even agree with.
No, I asked you a simple question, and you answered it. I asked you, does he want us to unite behind him? But then when I asked you, well, why would a guy who wants us to unite behind him do something like this? You don't want to discuss it all of a sudden.
Well, no, because we already discussed it. We spent the whole live, 3 days.
We weren't talking about unity then, though. We were not talking about unity then. We're talking about unity.
How about this? Why do you picture that as him destroying Chicago instead of him destroying the criminals that are ruining Chicago?
Because no criminals are featured in the picture. It just shows things are on fire in helicopters.
Well, you think he's setting, malls on fire, or you think that battle is him fighting crime?
I don't know. The guy just simply said that Chicago is about to find out why we call it the Department of War. And I'm asking you, do you see that phrase as a phrase of unity?
I guess so, yeah, because he wants to clean up Chicago for people who live in Chicago.
So
he's not doing it for me here in Miami.
But you in Miami, and Miami has its own share of crime as well. If he posted a picture of Miami ablaze like that and said Miami is about to find out why we call it the Department of War, that would make you feel great and want to get behind him?
I mean, I wouldn't really take it the way you're taking it. I don't see it as him trying to burn down Miami. Maybe he'll go after some drug dealers. But Miami doesn't have the crime problem that Chicago does.
So what does he mean when he says they're going to find out why it's the Department of War? What is he talking about? That sounds like he's talking about bringing war to Chicago.
I don't know what he means. It means that the bad guys, the people who are ruining Chicago, will find out, how serious he is about cleaning up the city.
By bringing war to it.
It just means he'll go after the bad guys.
He didn't say anything about bad guys. He said the whole city is going to find out why it's called the Department of War. He didn't say just bad guys.
That goes without saying. What do you mean? Who do you think he's going to go after? You think he's going to go after citizens like yourself?
I don't understand why.
He's going to go after people?
I don't. That's the problem. Is I don't know. What about the photos on the screen now? Because you said he wants to bring unity. Okay, now, do you think him posting a picture of Biden hog-tied?
We've talked about that photo like 20 times.
But we're talking about, we're talking about unity,
You're wasting my time and you.
Do you? But I'm asking.
I know, but
unity. We're talking about unity.
That was funny. I found it funny. He was trying to get people to laugh. We could have laughed together and united in laughter, and how funny that is.
So you believe the country should have saw the current president hog-tied in the trunk of a car and laughed and united behind Trump. You believe this? So in other words, if Kamala Harris had posted a picture of Trump hog-tied in a pickup truck, you're saying MAGA would have united behind her and laughed?
If it was funny, yeah. But she doesn't really have a sense of humor.
You believe
Trump's
that?
Known for his sense of humor.
You believe that MAGA would have?
Do you remember that video of him wrestling? Like a clip of him actually wrestling, and he just changes the faces or whatever to all the different media.
Yeah. Hold on one second. Hold on. Because in the comments, Handsome Conservative. Hang on, MAGA, hang on. In the comments, the Handsome Conservative says, you see these kind of pictures on the internet all the time. Sometimes it's just a joke. They don't come from the president, though. That's the problem. Is this stuff is coming straight out the White House. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if MAGA would see these pictures of President Trump being hog-tied and bust out in laughter like that. I don't know any insult that the Democrats have launched on Trump and you guys laughed at. I don't know of one insult that the Democrats have launched on Trump and you guys say, yeah, that's hilarious. Not once.
It depends on who did it and the spirit.
Give me one. There's literally hundreds. Give me.
I laughed with you at the South Park thing that came out like 2 weeks ago. We all laughed at that. That was funny. The South Park episode that came out like 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago that replaced Saddam Hussein with Trump having sex with the devil. You didn't find that episode of South Park funny?
I've been watching.
You see me come on here and tell you how disrespectful it is, how stupid it is? I laughed. I just said it was funny with you, and that was the end of the conversation.
Right. Do you think if let's say Biden was the one that was actually making those episodes, you think people would unite behind him, showing pictures of Trump fucking the devil? You think that the country would unite behind a president doing that?
Biden doesn't have a sense of humor. I mean, Obama did.
Does humor have a bar? Is there any such thing as a line you shouldn't cross? Is it okay to tell a joke about anything at all?
What do you mean?
I mean,
it's okay to tell jokes about things.
You got a guy. You got the president hog-tied.
It's okay.
I'm asking you: is there any such thing as a president telling a joke that crosses the line? I mean, you got the president hog-tied in the back of a trunk. I mean, is there any jokes that are off limits?
Look, I'll have to judge them as they come. I can't tell you how a joke's gonna feel, how it's gonna hit.
And coming, and these
I
are all.
found that funny when I saw it before Trump even posted it, because I saw this as a regular meme first, and then Trump posted it. I was like, hey, he's posting that thing I left about a month ago.
And these are okay coming from the White House, though.
But they didn't come from the White House.
It came from President Trump's account. It came from President Trump's own account.
He retweeted somebody. He retweeted something.
Once it doesn't matter.
He has a sense of humor.
No, I don't take into listen. If I am retweeting pictures of underage children naked, I don't get to say I retweeted it. Once it comes to my account, that's your shit. You don't get to say you saw this and thought it was something you wanted to send out to the world. You don't get to blame the original author at that point.
Tim, I'm not saying you're wrong. We're both correct on this. You're correct in what you're saying. That is disrespectful and it's really bad coming from the president. And I'm also correct that it's funny and he's just trying to be funny and he has a sense of humor. He always has it. Even today, he was joking with the baseball players at the baseball game today.
Yeah, but what I'm asking you...
He was joking with them and shit, telling them they win every time he shows up for a game.
Yeah, but what I'm asking you is he a president that's seeking unity with this stuff? I get the jokes, but you can tell jokes that make people hate you. You're saying he's trying to be a unifier with this stuff.
Usually laughter unites more than it separates.
Okay, well, let me give you another one.
I don't think he's trying to be funny to divide us.
Okay, let me give you another one. This is a 16-second clip that came from President Trump's account as well, and you let me know if it's unifying.
We discussed this like a year ago. He wasn't even president.
There you go, white power. You hear that?
Okay, he tweeted out a guy yelling white power. Unifying?
No, it's not unifying. I don't even think he heard the guy saying white power. I think he just retweeted it, not knowing, thinking, oh, it's old people supporting him. Let me just retweet it.
You would watch this. Wait. You would watch this video and not hear that guy yelling white power? That's the loudest thing in the video.
First of all, you assume my audio is on. I watch most videos.
No, I'm talking about the president. I'm talking about the president. You gonna tweet a video and you ain't even heard all of it?
He just saw.
It could be a naked lady walking across the screen at the end of it. You talking about the president of the United States?
You could see a naked people. You can't see people saying white power. It's not like there's a text on the bottom.
MAGA, it's a 16-second video. You can't listen to the video before you tweet it out.
I don't know how Trump does before he retweets.
Okay, then let me ask it to you this way.
Him retweeting.
Let me ask it to you this way. Once it became a big issue, no apology. Was that unifying?
No, but Trump never apologizes. It's one of the main things I don't like about him, which I've said to you 1,000 times.
So if you're doing things that is pissing people off, that is obviously wrong in this case, and you don't apologize, how can you suggest that the guy is running on a term of unity? I'm not even going to apologize when I do something wrong to you, but I want you to unify behind me.
See, this is like mistakes is not doing something wrong on purpose. These are mistakes he's made because he probably wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I don't. But see,
do you think he tweeted white power on purpose? Or do you think he's that stupid where he tweeted a video of some guy saying white power on purpose, or do you think he just missed it because he was just retweeting?
Let me play the video again. Let me play the video again before I answer your question.
Where's your white
Do you think he's that stupid?
Let me play. Wait, hold on a second. Let me play the video again before I answer your question. You're asking me, do I think he tweeted this out on purpose? Let me play the video again before I answer your question.
Where's your white voice? Where's your white voice? Racist. Yeah, you got it, you. White power. Yeah, there you go, white power. You hear that?
The video starts out with them arguing with each other. The guy is clearly calling the guy in the car a racist. And then toward the end of the video, the guy responds by yelling white power. At no point in this video is it peaceful or something that you would tweet. You don't even need to hear the white power part. The beginning of the video is confrontational. So yes, he tweeted this out intentional. There is nothing positive about this video at all. Yes, it was intentional.
I mean, I'll give you that. The fighting is not united.
Right.
I'll give you that.
This is intentional. Absolutely intentional. I can't believe you even asked that.
Much about it.
Huh?
I think you're overthinking it. When I saw this video, I was like, okay, what the fuck? What is this about? And then only like later on when you played it for me did I hear the white power.
Right.
I was like, oh, I didn't fucking notice that.
The video is even like I said, if you watch the video, none of it is positive. Even if you take the white power out of the guys calling them a racist, the video is negative from start to finish. There's no legitimate reason to post this.
There's a bunch of senior citizens supporting Trump and having a golf cart parade.
They are yelling.
Funny.
The video is argumentative with somebody yelling racism at him from the very beginning of the video. Only way what you're saying makes sense is if he never heard a single audio portion of it at all, which would then make you wonder why the hell would you tweet out something you didn't listen to?
I mean, you're bringing this shit like almost a year later.
Because I asked you
to what happened at the time.
Because I asked you, was he running on a platform of unity? And you're claiming, yeah. Then when I'm showing you all this shit, you don't want to talk about it. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Because I don't you're bringing shit from like so far in the past that I don't remember all the context, and I don't remember why he retweeted that or what he wrote below it. I don't remember all the fucking context. This is the thing, you guys take shit out of context all the time, so. Without me remembering all the context, I'm not going to sit here and debate you on it.
What other context
could this stuff from this like month?
What other context could this be in?
I already told you it's a golf parade, like his boat parade. There's a bunch of senior citizens supporting him. That's what he was looking at. That's what he was retweeting. He probably didn't even fucking notice all the people yelling. He probably thought they were both pro-Trump.
Right. And then once people actually call it out, I'm not going to apologize at all either. Which is what I asked you, which is what I've asked you and many other viewers. If somebody sits beside you and they step on your feet and you yell ouch, and I don't apologize for shit. If they don't apologize, you're going to assume they did it on purpose. So the fact when he does stuff like this and don't apologize, how the hell are people supposed to believe he didn't do this on purpose?
He just never apologizes. So people make mistakes all the time.
Yeah, and he keeps doing it over and over again. But that's the problem, though, Mag, is that this ain't a one-off.
Because he does a lot of shit. When you do as much as Trump, of course you're gonna make a lot of mistakes.
I'm trying to figure out what
Biden tweets once a year, and he fucking tweets like 100 times a day. So of course he's gonna make mistakes. I'm surprised he doesn't make more mistakes.
Yeah, but I'm listening to you
because Trump's on TV a lot. You take every little mistake he makes and you amplify it. But he's on TV so much that he's bound to make mistakes.
Yeah, but I'm listening to you and I'm trying to figure out.
Never make any mistakes.
You calling these things, tweeting out a guy yelling white power and not apologizing, and it's somehow a mistake, as you're saying. But I'm trying to hear this stuff and figure out where does the unity come in at. I mean, nothing you're saying sounds unique. Yeah, I tweet out some racist stuff.
Is fixing the economy. The unity is fixing the border. The unity is pursuing peace, doing the things we all agree about, which is a good economy, which is peace across the world, peace in Ukraine, peace in Gaza. He's working on all these things, even though he's not succeeding. And he's making me look bad because I gave him a year, and the year is almost up.
He said peace in Gaza.
Really
you realize you said peace in Gaza. You realize there is no more Gaza? There's nothing left. So
I'm not happy. I haven't been happy with him in a while. I think he's fucking up. He's letting Israel get away with murder, literally.
Yeah, Gaza is as close to a sheet of glass as you can get without using a nuclear weapon. That's what you would get if you used a nuclear bomb on an area. I mean, it's as close as you can get to a sheet of glass without using an atomic weapon. So, no, he ain't doing well in Gaza at all. And they still are bombing that area. Like, what the fuck are you bombing at this point? I mean, they still are bombing Gaza. Like, there's nothing left.
Bro, they're bombing the people they're trying to negotiate. They killed the guy that they tried to kill the guy that they're negotiating peace with.
Yeah.
Like, and then they're mad at Qatar for hosting them when it was what they asked for. Like, they wanted to align to Hamas, so they're like, we'll give them an office in Qatar. And then they fucking bombed the office that they asked Qatar to set up.
Because
now they're pretending like, oh, Qatar is like hosting terrorists or some shit.
They're doing that.
Like,
they're doing that because Netanyahu knows that the United States under Trump is going to defend him, which is why I don't understand why Qatar, or better yet, not Qatar, but I don't understand why why Hamas and the Palestinians are trying to negotiate a peace deal with Israelis through Trump. Trump is not a neutral party in that. If Israel and Hamas negotiate some kind of peace deal, and Israel violates the deal, Trump ain't gonna punish Israel. But if Hamas violates the deal, he's gonna punish Hamas. Like, why would you be negotiating with Trump? He's not a neutral party in that. He should not be involved in any negotiation between Israel and the Palestinians. He should not. America should not be involved in that. We are a biased mediator in that.
I mean, what choice do they have? What choice do we have?
Well, what they could simply do is demand that another Middle East third-party nation do the mediation, become a moderator. Because it's pretty obvious on the world stage that Trump is not a neutral party. He's on the side of Netanyahu. So you don't want to negotiate with him.
The problem is they're fucked no matter what. Whether it was Biden, whether it was Trump, whether it's the United States, whether it's Qatar, whether it's the Saudis, they're just fucked at this point, and they know it. They've literally given in on every demand that they give in on everything. They're like, come on, we want peace.
And they still bombing them. And they still bombing them.
Yeah, Israel just wants to bomb them.
Right.
And they're literally trying to stop peace. Like everything they're doing is the opposite.
And that's why I say
they don't want peace. I don't know what to say.
And I agree with you. That's why I say Trump does not make a good moderator, because if you had a neutral third party, they would be saying exactly what you're saying, is that Hamas has caved in and gave you every damn thing you want. Trump is like, finish him. I mean, Trump is basically telling Netanyahu, go ahead and do what you want to do. That's why he should not be the moderator in that.
So, Trump has at least said one or two bad things, which is better than Biden, but you're right. It's
I'm going to take the land and make it the Riviera of the Middle East. What has Biden said that's worse than that?
Nothing. Biden said nothing. At least Trump.
I'm going to take your homeland and you can't come back.
I know he didn't necessarily say all that.
Yeah, he did. That's exactly what he said. We're going to take it and you can't come back. That's exactly what he said.
We both know your Trump translator is broken. And
no, he was questioned by the media. The media asked him, can they come back? And he said, no, we're going to find somewhere else better for them to go. No, he said they can. We're going to make it the Riviera of the Middle East, and they're not going to be living here. He did say that. That's not a translator. It came out of his mouth.
Well, yeah, but he assumed that they don't want to live in rubble.
You're going to make it the Riviera of the Middle East, MAGA. It's not going to be rubble. Why can't they live there?
I don't think Trump's going to be alive to see that. I don't think
he's
going to be alive to see the Gaza. Because it's going to take forever to clean up the mess Israel made. You think they're going to clean up Gaza overnight?
No, it's not. They're going to kill off as many Palestinians as they can. I got to move it on, though, MAGA. Appreciate it.
Yeah, take care, man.
Unity. Remember, real unity, not this bullshit.
Clean your room. Clean your room, and that room being Chicago.
Yeah, right. Bye. Tap the screen, get us on. We didn't reach 100,000. Well, we came close. I appreciate that. Biden was better maybe when he was sleeping all the time. You know something? If we're going to get the global policy that we have in America right now, with Russia doing whatever the hell they want with Ukraine, with Netanyahu doing whatever the hell he wants in the Middle East, maybe Trump should go to sleep too. I mean, if we're going to say that Biden was sleeping, Trump is awake, shit, those countries are doing better under Biden. Maybe Trump should go to sleep, because he's doing more damage awake than Biden was doing asleep. So I just think of it that way. I'm going to tell you, I bet you Zelensky of Ukraine would absolutely rather have more of Biden than Trump. If Zelensky could have his way, better yet, not even Zelensky of Ukraine, the whole fucking European theater, the whole European theater, European theater, if I can say it right, the whole European theater would rather have Biden back in office than Trump. I'm talking about all the way from the UK all the way to the border of Russia. That whole East and West Europe would rather have Biden back in office than Trump. They all felt safer and they felt more connected with America under Biden than they do with Trump. The whole European theater would rather have Biden back in office. Asleep at the wheel would still be better than what they're getting out of Trump. They wouldn't be getting tariffed. They wouldn't be getting threatened all of the damn time. And Russia would not be getting bigger and stronger. So they all would rather have Biden back. Jay says Trump represents the obscenities that conservative America fetishizes. Damn. Please wake up, MAGA. Tell me how a millionaire playboy from New York represents you. And he loves gold as well. I don't know, but a lot of folks do believe Trump is down to earth and they feel like they can relate to him. I think it's because Trump is a great salesman and knows what to say. As somebody who's been to a couple Trump rallies, I can tell you, you can feel it when he's talking. I was close enough to the front. I always bring up how he pointed at me and winked when I stood and applauded. I was applauding something he said. I think it was imposing tariffs on John Deere. It sounded good. I stood up and clapped along with everybody else. He saw me and pointed at me and winked. You can feel it. I mean, look, the guy's a great salesman. He is a great salesman. It doesn't always come true, but he is a great salesman. Charlie Kirk advocated for public executions. Did he? Damn. Really? He got some bad, well, you know, oh my God. I was about to say he got some bad quotes out there, but damn the irony of that. Not only did he say that some gun deaths are acceptable for everybody to have their Second Amendment rights, you're now saying he also advocated for public executions, and he went through both of those things. He became a victim of guns and was executed in public. Wow. Wow. I mean, he got to be the worst example of karma that I've ever seen. Worst example of dying on a hill, you know, living by the sword and dying by it than I've ever seen. I mean, wow, did he really advocate for public executions too? And then died that way? Yikes. He's been, he prophesized this outcome more than Tupac. Might as well start calling him the White Machiavelli. Damn. Public executions, huh? And then gets publicly executed. Talk about irony. Anyway, looking in the comment section, I thank you folks that are tapping the screen. Don't know what I hit there, but enhance the coming dark ages. It ain't got to be that bad, do it? This is pitiful. Charlie Kirk has flags lowered. Why? It's simple. Trump loves his people, and listen. If you look out for Trump, he gonna look out for you. I mean, Trump is ride or die if you look out for him. That's why he's sent J.D. Vance to bring the body back on Air Force Two. Flags were lowered to half mast. He's going to give him posthumously the Medal of Freedom. I mean, you look out for Trump, he looks out for you. It's a symbol. I don't think it should be that way because it is obviously a quid pro quo. I don't think, certainly using Americans' tax dollars to go fly this guy who's a millionaire, fly his body back to Arizona, and we got to pay for that? Look, if you don't believe your tax dollars should go to cover abortions or cover, transgender medicine and shit like that, but you're going to use America's tax dollars to fly this dude back home? I don't know. Some of the things we do with our tax dollars are so fucked up. I mean, I didn't think flying aircraft over Vladimir Putin's head was worth our tax dollars. But the Trump administration has a difference of opinion. Like the whole military parade. I didn't think that was something that was worth our tax dollars being used. But the right, they disagree. Folks on the right disagree. I don't want my tax dollars to cover that shit. No, I don't. Absolutely, your tax dollars should not have been used to cover flying the body of Charlie Kirk back to his family. That guy is a millionaire several times over. I think he's worth about $30 million or something like that. He can easily pay for that. And to fly it on Air Force Two, now you're flying with all the Secret Service, and I mean that cost a fortune to do that. That to fly his body back to Arizona probably cost the taxpayers about $100,000 or more. Probably more, to be honest with you. Probably a lot more than that. We should not have to pay for that. But when it comes to Trump, He don't give a damn how you feel. He's going to do it anyway. Why didn't Carlin get this treatment? Who was Carlin? Who was Carlin? Why didn't Carlin get this treatment? I don't know what you mean. Air Force Two was already there, not for a special trip. It doesn't matter. They weren't going to Arizona when they left there. They were not picking up a body. I mean, it doesn't matter where they were already at. They were not going back to his hometown to drop off and not to mention, even if you take the body out of it, why is the vice president going to meet with the family and shit like that? There's a whole lot of things that were done there that cost the taxpayer money that should not have. You make a phone call to the family of Charlie Kirk. You don't fly out there and meet them. I mean, all of that, we're covering all of that shit. You're covering expenses for all of that stuff. George Carlin, you talking about? I don't know about George Carlin. You're talking about why wasn't his body and stuff flown? I don't know. Does this guy actually take real callers or any people I take everybody, Cypher Circles. If you come on TikTok or if you come on Instagram, the Handsome Libro on either platform, I take anybody. You can be critical, you can be insulting, you can put me in my place. I will challenge you, but I don't have all the fucking answers. A lot of you guys, even my beloved MAGA, a lot of you guys have more answers than I do. I'm willing to learn, I'm willing to be educated, I'll concede a point, but I do take callers from all sides of the aisle. When I say we go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q, we sincerely mean that. Unfortunately, a lot of folks that call in are liberals right now because Trump is president. He's in the hot seat. He's getting the criticism. But when I used to be very critical of Biden's economy, most of my audience was MAGA. I started out with a majority MAGA audience. So it flipped once Trump got in office and he began getting criticized. MAGA didn't like hearing him get criticized. So my MAGA audience dwindled and I got more liberals. Chances are if a liberal president follows and I start criticizing where he's fucking up, more MAGA will come. Your job shouldn't stop you from helping out your friends. Yeah, but your job shouldn't pay for you to help out your friends. How about that? I'm fine with, listen, if J.D. Vance wants to go and visit the family of Charlie Kirk or something like that, do it on your own dime. That's one thing. But when you're taking Air Force Two, all of the Secret Service, and we're paying for the gas, we're paying for the time that the Secret, we're paying for all of that. That's on us. I'm fine with your job, I'm fine with you doing what you want to do to help out your family, but your job, the citizens who represent this country, who pay taxes, should not cover him doing that. That's why we shouldn't cover that. It doesn't cost that much. Yeah, neither does giving a single mom a few $100s a month in food stamps. You don't want to do that. Doesn't matter if it doesn't cost that much. We don't want to. There's a bunch of shit that folks on the right don't agree with that don't cost that much, and you still say it shouldn't be around. It shouldn't happen. It doesn't cost that much. It doesn't matter. We don't want to pay anything on it. The taxpayer shouldn't have to pay a dime on bringing Charlie Kirk's body back to his family. You shouldn't have to pay anything. Doesn't matter how much it costs. We need to keep his preaching under fire. Jesus Christ in God, and wait a minute. We need to keep his preaching under fire. Jesus Christ and God are the true kings. Babylon. Okay, yikes. Anyhow, I do appreciate the 76,000 likes. You know how the program is ran. I do have to go and spend time working for the man in the morning, just like the rest of you folks do. Got to pull myself up by my bootstraps, as some might suggest. So as always, I appreciate you guys showing the program some love. If you enjoy this type of open dialogue from all sides of the aisle, we don't block, ban, or censor anyone. Out and give your boy a subscription if you're watching on YouTube. If you happen to be watching on TikTok or Instagram, follow the program. By the way, I want to just ask you folks, we are on X and Truth Social. The goal is to start doing lives on either X or Truth Social. I'm going to start being live on one of those platforms. I think it's probably going to be X because I do believe the free speech element on Truth Social is not as good or strong or reliable as it is on X. I do believe if you're on Truth Social and you're critical of Trump, you may not be on Truth Social reliably. I do believe you can do it on X because I'm going to be critical and complimentary. If he's doing something right, I'm going to point it out. If he's doing something wrong, I'm going to point that out as well. On Truth Social, I don't think you're going to survive a long time on Truth Social pointing out anything Trump is doing wrong. So I'm probably going to be on X. We tried Rumble. Not enough folks on the right really use Rumble, but I am on Rumble as well. But follow one of those, if you will, for your boy, because that's where we're going to be. We're going to be going live on X. I do have the Handsome Liberals across every platform. The Handsome Liberals are named on every platform: YouTube, Clapper, Instagram, TikTok, X, Rumble, and Truth Social. Same name across all platforms. But we're going to start also going live on Truth Social. But until then, you guys stay safe. Get some rest. We'll see what's going on with Charlie Kirk tomorrow, if they do find a killer or not. It's been over 24 hours. The killer's still at large. That's impressive to be able to do something like that in front of that type of an audience and still be able to escape the best efforts of the FBI, because they're essentially getting a blank check from the Trump administration. Whatever you need, you don't even need to ask. Trump wants the killer of Charlie Kirk caught so much, you don't even need to ask for permission. Whatever you need, you got it. So for somebody to be able to take his life in front of thousands of people with the FBI having that much leeway and still be at large for over 24 hours, that's impressive. That's impressive. And they don't have a clear facial photo of the guy. So we'll see what happens. But until then, I'll see you folks tomorrow. It's your boy Tim, the Handsome Liberal. Catch it in. Stay safe.